You're listening to M.T.V.B. Podcast. Movies, TV, video and board games. This show may contain swearing.
Welcome to a brand new episode of the
M.T.V.B.
podcast, the podcast that talks about my four favorite subjects. That's movies,
TV shows,
video games,
and board games.
I'm your host, Anthony, as well as most people know me as the Antman, and welcome. This week we're continuing our season where we talk about specific games from a very specific console. And this week we're talking about our top 5 video games from the Xbox 360 era.
Oh, yes.
And I drone around the table by the guys that love to talk about 360 games. Introduce yourselves around the table, please.
Hi, I'm Chris Heisenbyrne, and I'm looking forward to getting this started. Thank you.
Nice.
Hey guys, I'm back. It's Gal, aka Grey Fox.
Grey Fox in the fucking building already.
He's here.
Way!
So that's one this year. So we're good. We're doing
That's
good.
it. We're doing good. Yeah. be maybe 2 next year.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Is it incremental?
We'll find out, won't we? And of course,
Tune in.
Super Mario.
we're
Yay!
in the building. So, Xbox 360 game, guys. Starting off, we'll go around the table and ask about our lists. We'll do the normal intro to one another. So let's start with old Heisenbyrne himself. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm very well, thank you.
How was the list for you?
Oh, it was good, and it was easy because there's only a few. Well, I played lots of games. I've never actually owned the console. This is a console that I played to death at my friend's house, and there's a good, I want to say 5-6 years of solid gaming on this console. So more than probably I played on my PlayStation at the time, because we're always around there just chilling in his house. So yeah, I played these to death, and these were games that I played, and because you just love to watch. You know, there were always games that you were enjoyable to watch at the same time.
Yep.
You know, for the other person. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. No, it was an easy list. Well, it wasn't an easy list because I was like, because I had just so much fun. So there's like a few
It's which one?
Yeah.
Was it the order more than the actual list itself?
Yeah, it's like they're just games which I enjoyed, but just enjoyed playing. We both played around there, you know. So there's certain puzzle games that we'd do together, sort of thing. And you're like, oh, maybe if you go up there,
to help one another out.
Yeah.
Whilst you're watching, like, oh, go there and do that.
Unless you'd already completed it, and
Then you knew what they were doing.
Well, no, I was on my own, sort of thing. They'd be like,
okay.
you know, they'd be like, it wasn't just oh, go up here, you know. So these are games I put a lot of hours in.
Yeah, I think that's what some of my list was there. Let's go around the table to Mr. Grey Fox.
I love that.
I know, right? You finally get it.
I'm going to find the news at 10.
But it was actually going to be...
I don't know which one's better now.
We'll let the fans decide. Comment below, let us know. So how was the list for you, sir?
There was 3 went straight bang. I knew where they were going.
Yeah.
The others I had to maybe shuffle them around, but yeah, it wasn't easy. It was more of what position do I put them? But there was one just went straight to the top.
Yeah.
You know, just that's not moving. But this console is I think I know you know I'm not a big fan of Xbox, but this is a console that's quite dear to my heart.
It's one of its best out the line of
this
the consoles, isn't it?
And the big boy Xbox One.
Yeah.
The original one. They're quite dear to me.
They're the two.
Yeah.
Nice. And then we'll go over to Super Mario. So your list, sir.
So, the Xbox 360 was the first console I actually bought after the PlayStation. So I never owned a console between PlayStation and Xbox 360.
Oh, as in PlayStation 1?
As in PlayStation
Right,
1, the
okay.
original. When it first came out, that was the console that I bought. So the games on this, I didn't realise how long this had been around for.
Yeah.
Like the 360 lasted for years.
Yeah.
And filled that gap for ages. And at one stage, it was a media console in the house. But I didn't even play games on it. I was watching Netflix. I was watching all the shows on it. So coming up with the games, it was like, yeah, these are the ones that just held me to the console. Or the ones that I'd go back to, multiplayer as well. The first ones that ever introduced actual enjoyable multiplayer, not a bunch of kids yelling at you down your headset. These are the ones
As
that
in like split screen.
split screen, but also the ability to play with your mates. So the 360, I was able to buy it when I worked for Menzies at the airport. And so after a late shift, you'd finish at like 11:30, get home about midnight and switch on. And then the guys that you'd just been loading bags on an aircraft with, you'd be shooting them in the head. Playing some of these games, or racing them down the street. So yeah, it was one of those social consoles. It was the first actual social console, I think. I know Xbox had tried that and PlayStation had tried that, but I think this was the first one that was a proper social console. You didn't have to be in the house with people; you could be everywhere, and everyone could play it properly. And Xbox Live was the first thing when they brought out Blades for this as their kind of unit. This was the console that brought that out. I think it was such a good console.
And you saying about it lasting so long, I think recently this year they've only just closed the 360 store, haven't they? So
and everything's almost back compatible as well. Like,
exactly. So that's probably why they did it, isn't it? Yeah.
I think they were slowly working up to, okay, now we've got it sorted. Everything's backwards compatible. Done.
Didn't
their HD DVD was a failed, didn't it?
Yes, it was because Sony managed to get Blu-ray.
I just had to play out there.
Yeah, but do you know how?
Why are you throwing that in there? It's like-
Right. But this is quite a cool fact. Do you know why it failed?
No.
Do you know what industry took on Blu-ray before
Porn.
it was porn? That is how
I heard-
HD,
yes,
HD DVD failed because
heard
porn
about that.
decided they were going to
That's
run with
Yeah.
Blu-ray,
Yeah.
and because of that, it
Killed it.
became the most famous format. Yeah. So on this
Did you know?
This is when you do the classic Howard. It's not porn.
I was going to say this is it. This is
about the
porn.
stories.
It's adult entertainment.
This is adult entertainment.
We watch it for the stories.
This is M&S porn.
That sounds like a right old search.
Doesn't it? Yeah. And I was going down this rabbit hole of so yeah, but yeah, so HD DVD did fail, but not because it wasn't any good. In fact, it was a superior format to Blu-ray. It was just actually it never made it that far.
I thought put it out there. So.
No, it's a fair point.
And you got corrected.
No, that's
And only because of porn. Who knew?
damn right.
So anyone who hasn't joined us on YouTube before, what we do is we normally have a few questions before we start with the top fives. So first question for the night is, at the time the 360 was released up against the PS3, which one was you more into at the time? And be honest about it. I don't know it's an Xbox episode, but if you was more of a PS3 guy, then please say it.
Well, this is it. I owned the PS3 because I was very licensed towards the licensed games on PS3.
Yeah.
Uncharted, God of Wars were always my bread and butter sort of thing. So, and my mate had the Xbox, but it wasn't. The games were still
But it's
amazing.
like back in the day, one had the Nintendo, one had the Sega.
Yeah, that's
so
it.
you-
The
you
Mega
just-
Drive SNES, wasn't
Right.
it? Yeah.
But they were still classed as, you could play it as much as... And the same as, like, I took my PlayStation around there and he ended up playing The Last of Us because, obviously, that isn't available on Xbox. So it kind of worked both
Yeah,
ways.
I forgot that debuted on the PS3.
Yeah, well, that was probably my
Near the
list.
end.
I had to work out what I played on the PlayStation, what crossed over, like, because there's a lot of cross...
Yeah, there was quite a
Yes,
few
yeah,
games
yeah.
that were on both consoles, yeah.
Yeah.
Multi-platform ones.
And then I was like, oh no, because I didn't know. Because there was games that were on my list on this one that I had every intention of buying on the PlayStation, but I played them to death there. It was like, it kind of seemed a bit silly to buy the game.
Yeah, there's no point in buying
Yeah.
more consoles than you the
I had
days,
every intention of buying it, but because I played it properly to death, it was like
Yeah.
absolutely no need.
Nice, that's interesting, Chris. What about you, Gal? Be honest.
So I'm just gonna make sure. Like, didn't Xbox release early before
Yes,
the other
yes, it did,
yeah, it did.
PS3? I'm gonna say if my memory serves me right, I think I got the Xbox 360 first, and I'll have to go into it a little bit later because
Yeah, so I believe the release date was December 2nd, 2005, and I don't think the PS3 was out till Easter the year after, I think it was.
Because I think Xbox was panicking because of one of their main releases, and Nintendo Wii and PlayStation 3 was about 6 months out.
Yeah.
So they rushed to release something, and I ended up getting 360 first, surprisingly. And I at the end, I owned all three at one point.
Yeah.
In that generation and the previous generation. But yeah,
That's why you're the games guy. That's why he's on the video game episode, everyone.
That's it.
that's all you want to.
What about you, Mario?
So I had stolen the original Xbox, so I had the big old Duke controller.
Oh, I love that controller.
So
Amazing.
good.
The house.
Yeah, to the point I actually I converted it to a USB as well. So I cut the end off the cable and soldered a USB connector to it because it is exactly the same. So you could plug it into your PC and use it on your PC. And then from that, like, came the natural holding of the Xbox 360 controller. So when it came down to like, were you PS3, were you Xbox 360? It was 360, and it's purely on the comfort of the controller.
And they were wireless, weren't they?
Yeah. And it was the other thing was like the buttons on the back of the PS3 controller. For me, they were kind of almost free floating. They didn't have any kind of tactile kind of feel to them. So when it came to this, you felt the pattern, the trigger buttons at the back. They're actually like connect and make noise and do that. They weren't necessarily analog, but they were good enough for me, and they felt better.
Yes,
and more comfortable in my hand.
It
Definitely.
felt like a trigger.
It had
an actual
yeah.
trigger.
It had a bit of a grip to it, didn't it?
It was rubberized
like
on the sides. Yeah, and it had that kind of rubberized feel to it. And it just the thumbsticks, everything about it just felt more comfortable. So that's what it came down to with me, was like that controller.
Yeah.
The PlayStation, the thumbsticks being down in the middle originally, because I remember getting the DualShock for the PS1, and it just didn't feel right with those two thumbsticks.
That's right, because one was there and one was like down.
Yeah, well, they were both at the front at one stage. They were both in the middle at one stage. Both thumbsticks were there, and it just didn't feel right for me. And then I just moved on to the Xbox from there. And having used the Duke, it was like, that made sense.
Yeah, underrated. I mean, everyone hates it, but
first
I love
time you see the Duke, it's just like, wow, what the hell?
It's how do you hold on to that thing? It's like I don't know if any of you remember the Atari Lynx.
Yes.
And the Atari Lynx was an
big
old,
bar,
big, and had a keyboard in the middle of it. So it's the same size as the Duke, more or less, maybe slightly bigger, but it had a keyboard in the middle of it as well. So you could actually tap away on it as well. But what was great about the Duke was the amount of attachments you can get to it, because it was the first time you had a headset that you plugged in the bottom of it.
Yep.
If you didn't have a headset, you could get this little speaker thing you could plug in the bottom of it. So there's a microphone and a speaker on
Didn't
there.
have two ports at the top
Two
as well.
ports at the top as well, yeah.
What actually goes in that then?
One was a charging port, because you could get a battery thing for it.
Right.
I don't know what the other one was. But yeah, it was such a versatile controller. But the same with the 360. It was the first time you plugged like a jack lead in the bottom of it, and that was your headset.
Yeah.
And it came with a headset. It came with one controller, a headset.
Now they charge for everything.
Yeah, everything separate, and it all costs an arm and a leg. Yeah. I mean, the controllers are 100 times better than they used to be, but at the same time, like it was customizable to the nth degree as well. You could take those parts apart.
I think Xbox held it down with the controllers from that era.
See, there isn't, for most games, the PlayStation didn't, between the two, there wasn't much of a difference.
No.
But we played a lot of FIFA, and that slight
adjustment,
that slight offset on the right stick made FIFA on the PlayStation just redundant.
Yeah.
And then just forever, like, sort of on the Xbox sort of thing.
100%.
And it's kind of like, but it didn't, but that was only because of the stress of when you're playing two player in like a football game. You're like, but when you're playing a one player, you're sort of a bit more relaxed, aren't you? It was like, that's the only time it's sort of I could really notice between the two.
Yeah.
For me, it was more of comfortability, especially the recent ones. I think it just feels better, and I think that's why Sony's adopted that chunky feel to it as well.
Yes, yeah, with the new DualSense one now, isn't it? Yeah.
Just feels nice to hold, you know?
The thing about the Xbox, I'm pretty sure the 360, was this the one where you could load your CD up, import
the first one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
import it, and then you'd have your music over the games.
Yeah, that's the first one, the original.
That
was brilliant, and you can't do it. Like, they kind of never did. They never did it on the next
I'm
one.
sure there was a copyright law.
But it just made like playing any sort of game that you wanted, just with your own music.
Especially
There's nothing worse than sort of like.
No, it's all about dead or alive volleyball with your own soundtrack in the background.
No, because
Playing the top.
If you know,
Top Gun
you know.
things,
But yeah, so Mario's kind of answered it a little bit, but I'll still ask anyway. So the original Xbox started the Xbox Live thing with the whole, I believe, 15th of November 2002. But the 360 is when Xbox Live boomed and just came out. Were you guys ever members of it and utilised it at all, whatnot, or
Have been since it came out.
huh?
Have been since it came out.
Oh, there you go,
Since it was
see?
released, so
Yeah.
I'm a lifelong since the existence of Xbox Live.
And you've
member.
kept the account
I
since.
Kept it going, yeah, all the way through.
I've only ever bought the Xbox One. I've been PlayStation 1, 2, 3, missed the 4. And then I've just gone back to
So
5.
Xbox One was instead of the 4, yeah.
Just gone back to 5.
So was you ever on live then, or?
No, not
No.
really.
I am now, but during that era, I like if you listen to previous episodes, I kind of avoided all online stuff like to go online. So I didn't even like games like multiplayer, like COD.
Okay,
I kind of avoided it. It was for me. It was more like campaign driven.
sure.
Now I'm getting into a few of those online games, but back then I was like, I was not afraid of it. It was more of like, I just want to spend my time on new games, play it, not just spend hours and hours on like just one game, released every year or whatever.
Yeah.
So
But it
I kind of basically Call of Duty kind of put it off for me. I played
Yeah,
them
sure,
online,
sure.
but I just didn't know what.
But downloading games from home
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
DLC and stuff was so revolutionary at the time, wasn't
it was.
it?
And the fact that you could go into a shop, which was the Microsoft Store, and they weren't A-class games, but like you could download loads of little side games. I remember there was like a Rock Band one. There was a Jack Black voiced one where he was a rock guitar god, and it was like
Yes,
a platform.
Rock Legend or something.
It's
Yeah.
Legend of Rock. Yeah, you're right. It's something like that. And then you had like all the original kind of Mortal Kombats and stuff like that, and revisits and the extra characters you could get. You didn't need to go into the shop now to buy the.
It was just, everything was
Yeah,
just there.
it just
wasn't
made it differently. And also this was the advent of around this sort of time. Internet became good. Like it wasn't 512 and you had to dial in. It was like now we actually have broadband.
And you didn't need
was-
a top-notch PC
it
for
was,
it
um,
either.
That was
it was
it.
available on the first Xbox, wasn't it? But it
Yes.
wasn't as like.
That's what
No,
I'm
so
saying.
the-
That's what it started, but
this
it
is-
Yeah.
really
with-
utilised in the
The
360.
first Xbox had you had to buy like the PlayStation 2, I think it was. You had to buy a little unit that you plugged in the
That's
back,
right. You plugged in the back.
and then that was your kind of network adapter, and you plug it in the back and you plug it all in, and then off it would go.
Was it with dial-up? It wasn't with dial-up, was
It
it?
was, so it was
It's
at
just
the
a lead,
it was
wasn't
at the end of the dial-up. It
Dial-up,
wasn't
yeah,
using
yeah.
dial-up. It was using a network port. So it was the end of just towards the end of dial-up, just as we're kind of moving into that kind of the lower end of the broadband. So
yeah.
it's when
ISDN, wasn't it? Or
yeah, it's
something?
when people are talking about like, oh yeah, we got 1 meg per second. It's like, wow, amazing, great. But now like we're on like gigs and gigs and gigs. But back then, yeah, you plugged it in and the games were so small.
Also, am I right in saying it was the birth of achievements, or was that before?
It was.
It was.
It was, wasn't it?
It was.
was.
It was
And
the
then you had
blade. It was the blades when they brought the blades out,
Yeah.
and then achievements changed,
That's it.
and you started
and
getting
you got like little icons for it. Oh,
Yeah,
that's so
yeah.
cool. I love the thing about that console. It's so good.
But it made you want to play it more as
Mm.
well.
yeah.
So one last question before we start our top fives, and I'm going to say it to you all. Maybe not Chris as much because I'm not sure if you had it. Like I said, the Red Ring of Death.
Oh yeah.
Anyone suffer
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
cool.
yeah.
Near the end, though. Near the end.
Near the end,
Near the end.
mine was at the start. Oblivion put me through 4 Xbox 360s.
I remember the first ones that came out, and they advertised it and go, oh yeah, if you've got this model number, it's going to die on you. And then there was in the next week, I can't remember whether it was IGN or someone ran this whole thing. If you wrap it in a blanket, turn it on, listen to it scream, and it will work. And it
Did it work?
Yeah, it did, and it worked for about 3 months, and then the Red Ring of Death would come back. And at that point, if you wrapped it in a towel again and ran it again, no chance. You've
No.
melted everything inside of it. But basically, the pins on the graphics controller would lift off the board from the heat that was inside it.
Right.
But if you then wrapped it in a towel, let it run full blast, it would remelt the solder on the pins, reattach itself, and then you could play it again for a little while. But then when it got really hot again, it would do the same thing again. It would lift off the board, and then at that point, you've cooked your controller anyway.
Yeah.
So what's the point?
Wow. So you didn't
Thanks
ever
for
did
the
any
No,
of your
what-
mates go for it?
But yeah, well, my mate had it. He had to send his because it was a big palaver.
It was,
he had to
yeah.
send it back to Xbox.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
With like this.
Wait a
hoo-ha.
month for him to send it back to you.
At first, they were like, "Oh no, it wasn't."
Yeah, you don't qualify
Yeah, it
because you're
wasn't-
not this model number.
Yeah, it was kind of like it wasn't as well known that everybody was getting
Yeah.
fucked up by the Ring of Death. And it was kind of like, And then I think he ended up going through like 2 or 3. I had it once when it just stopped working. Never got a ring, but it just stopped working. And then he managed to get it working, and then it just died again. And then he got another one, and then that one just lasted all the way until the end. But then, because I had to take my PlayStation round because it still felt like I had lost the Xbox.
But he had some good arguments there. No, PlayStation never does that.
Well, yeah, he still to this day slates it.
Nice. I've got nothing else left for you guys. If you want to throw anything in, we'll go straight to the top 5s.
Let's do it.
Top 5.
Let's do it.
Do it!
It's time for a top 5.
So for anyone who doesn't follow us on here before, what we do is to determine who goes first. We roll our little 20 die with the T-Rex built inside it. Whoever gets the highest number goes first, and we go clockwise from there. We've all got a chance, by the way, because Howard's not on this episode. So
Yeah.
let's go. I'll go first. Ready?
What we got?
What have we got?
2.
For crying out loud.
You don't have a choice.
It's go on. Anyone.
Go on, Chris.
I can't see that one.
It didn't come out.
Oh, was that 15?
18.
Ooh. Go on, G. 1.
What is it?
Number 1.
Oh, no way. I got a chance.
18.
Oh, you two need to roll again.
Go on,
for the
Chris.
first time.
Oh,
What's that? 10.
10.
Ooh.
Beat a 10. Here we go.
Sudden death.
Fatality.
Heisenbyrne wins.
Does he really?
Yep.
oh, is it? Oh,
Nice.
deadly.
You're number 1.
You're number 1.
Number 1 for
one.
your
Wow.
number 1 for your number 5.
Number 5.
Wow. I've got to go last. God damn it. Right. Anyone who, if we don't mention your Xbox 360 game, between the physical media and the Xbox Live service, there are 2,154 Xbox 360 games. If we don't mention any of them, bollocks to you. Should have been on the episode. Number 5.
Number 5.
Over to you, Heisenbyrne, starting with your number 5.
Number 5. So you sort of mentioned it. This was like a game that was available on Xbox Live sort of thing. And this is, I'm going to kind of put a couple of them, and it's the Telltale games.
Oh, yes.
So
yeah.
the Telltale, mainly the Wolf Among Us and The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank
I've
God
never played Wolf
someone
Among Us, but Walking Dead's awesome.
Thank God someone mentioned that.
And Game of Thrones one.
Yeah, I did the Batman one. The Batman
See,
was so good.
when I was doing like my little bit of research, I was like, there was a Batman.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
And
the first one
then
I
I
knew
saw
about.
there was a Jurassic Park, and I was like, you're taking the absolute. And there was quite a few, and I was like, I've missed so many, but like, this was one of those games where, because my friend had played it and said like, oh, we need to do this, and kind of kept it quiet. But it was a game that you could sort of just play
Yeah.
You can even
together.
watch, like you
It's
said.
it's basically a story, choose your own adventure game. So if you can remember those sort of like adventure books, turn to page 262, you go here.
Yeah.
Everything's sort of like story driven, so and choices based. And what I found great about this game was that the choices felt like they had long-term effects sort of things. So like I remember in The Walking Dead, I didn't save like a kid in the bush sort of thing. And then
Yeah, and it comes back to you full-fold, doesn't it?
the dad screws me. Like and there's bits like like some of the stuff that you see. It's the first time you sort of like I saw the losing of an arm, because that wasn't sort of a well-known thing. As you had to
So
do
you have
it.
to cut it off yourself.
Yeah, savage.
Man, I'm so glad you put it on, man, because that's one I had to
See,
say.
that one was
so
good. And I put like the few of them on because they're only like 6 episodes, and they're
Yeah.
about it's about 6 hours worth of
They're
game.
long
but
enough, though.
They're long
long
enough
enough.
to feel great. But The Wolf Among Us was based on like the Fable comics and
Yes.
like the game, and it's basically like you got like Storytown, like Fabletown, and there's been a couple of murders.
Yeah,
And the big bad wolf is the sheriff, and you got to go and like interview like the 3 little pigs.
Meant to be a second one coming out soon,
Yeah,
isn't it? Yeah.
and
So
there's just this scene where like he hints that he's the big bad wolf for a long time, and then he finally he goes into it once, and it's like it's such an intense scene, and the whole game is just feels great to the point where I loved it, and I said to Sally, because she's on Steam, I said, have you played this? And she's just smashed it out. She loved it. It's just one of those games of how much fun and enjoyable stuff, because the games I played was different to what my mate Marcel had played.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, you just beat the shit out of him." I was nice to him, I was like, "Oh, he was taking the mick." Like I played it completely different. So there was a bit in the game.
It's good because it's what you would do.
Yeah, because there was a bit.
Hopefully not.
There's a bit in Game of Thrones where it was like.
I definitely, for me,
In the Game of Thrones one, it was like, do you want to take your army with you to protect you, or are you going to leave it at home with your family? I was like, oh, fuck that. I'm not going over there alone. My mate was like, oh, good, because I left it at home. And it ends up like being like, kind of ends up the same way.
Yeah.
It's kind of, but it's good it has a lot of replayability.
It gives you that the feeling of freedom.
Feeling of freedom. And
go
like,
back and change your choices again.
yeah, if you ever get a chance, and like it's like a very shell-shaded, comic
like
book
yeah.
style.
Yeah.
They've all got that same.
that style,
it's really kind of a cool, just great, enjoyable game,
Yeah,
and like
definitely.
it's just for how much fun of how easy of a game it was, and it's just for my joy of like those choices books as a kid that I loved this. I think you got to enjoy that sort of stuff, or the IP has got to be up your street.
Yeah, definitely.
And,
But like,
and the studio shut down before they put the last Walking Dead episode
That
out,
was
didn't
it,
they?
yeah.
And they had to get fans to fund them to
Yeah.
finish it, didn't they?
yeah, because you had the Walking Dead is basically the first season of the Walking Dead, but has nothing to do
With the Walking
It
Dead.
doesn't need
It's
to,
just
though,
you
does
got you got a person looking after the kids, and then they all meet up. Everything goes to shit.
Do some of the characters cross over? No? Am I?
I think there was a Michonne crossover
Yeah.
or a.
But not in the actual main. Definitely not the first one.
No, definitely not in the first one.
I'm trying to think.
But yeah, I just remember the redneck guy.
But it
He
was
just
about
hated
Clementine,
me.
though, wasn't it?
Clementine and Lee.
That's
Yeah.
One of my favorite characters. That relationship between those two and how it ends.
Yeah, because isn't he? Is he a prisoner?
He's a prisoner.
Yeah, he
He's-
escapes from a
that's
bus.
it,
And he has to like, do you lie
Yeah.
and say that you're not? And like, do you tell people that you're? And you're like, oh shit, you don't know what to do.
And it's a timer as well. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
and you're like-
it puts you under pressure.
Push you of the choice you make, isn't
Yeah.
it?
And it does feel like every choice, because you're not like, yeah. it's just-
The last scene made me cry almost. Like
Yeah, 100%.
it's so good. And have you played the one after?
I think I did, yes.
So the obviously it's about the first one's about.
Oh
Lee.
yeah, because it's the girl. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's grown up and she basically
She makes
does.
it because of how you played the first one. She makes his choices of what you would have done in Lee. So
Yeah.
and it flashbacks to Lee. It's
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
'cause there's
it goes from
there's
your
one
save
where
point,
you just-
doesn't it?
yeah you
You
do.
shoot or
Yeah,
you do
yeah,
someone
that's
and
it.
he goes,
And she goes, "Oh, I learned this from Lee or
yeah,
something." This is what
up in
Lee
the
said.
corner
Yeah.
goes, oh, she learned something. You're like, ooh.
Yeah.
Shit.
It's
But
so
yeah,
good.
no, it's definitely a great game, and I believe they're on. I'm not sure if it's on the Xbox.
It is, yeah.
It is.
It
Yeah,
is,
it's
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
worth because I think they'll probably be in the free section. They're definitely worth a good.
Xbox doesn't get rid of their games.
No, they're definitely worth a
out of all the Telltales, for sure, Walking Dead's the best
The
one.
Walking Dead. The Jurassic Park one really interested me. I've never played it, but it just sounds so cool.
The Guardians of the Galaxy one was going to be good as well.
Yes,
Guardians one.
that was like I was going down the list. I was like, oh my god, they've done so many. But yeah, check them out. Telltale.
Nice. Good pick, sir. You would appreciate that
Yeah,
as well.
that's
Yeah.
one I had scrubbed off. I was like,
There you go.
I'm so glad.
At least you didn't clash.
Yeah.
What's your number 5, sir?
my number 5 is Left 4 Dead.
Ooh,
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was on the list.
Ooh,
Took it
yeah.
out.
I
So I was
completely
gonna
forgot
clash.
about that one.
Oh, yeah.
It was, yeah.
So I'm a bit in two minds.
One
of
or
this
two?
one.
Or
Yeah,
the whole lot?
this is what I was gonna say because originally I played it when I went to university. I was studying games design, and they had a whole room. I think I've told you of all the 360s connected, and the game that was on it was Left 4 Dead. But my mind's in two because recently we've been playing Left 4 Dead, not now, but a couple of years ago.
You
So
used
I
to do the
can't-
game nights and connect the TVs together.
Yeah, so I can't remember if it was Left 4 1 or 2. So I'm gonna go with Left 4 Dead because it
It's
was
a good shout.
good
It's a
design.
good shout.
So, and it's my sort of first sort of feel into horde mode, if you like, sort of that. So, and you know me, I don't play online games, but this was technically online, but people were around us, so it could be one of my mates over there. It's,
Yeah, you could do it locally.
Oh man, it was such great fun. It's so good. Like everyone's played it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, why I love the game so much is the distinctive differences of zombies, especially the special ones.
Yeah, the witch.
And now you have to do certain things,
Yeah.
like the witch. You said, like you can't put a light on her; you have to crawl past her. You can't wake her up.
And you have to listen to what's
Yeah,
going
yeah,
on.
the
'cause you
cry.
can hear it, yeah.
Or
They,
you can-
but they all have that. Like the
Yeah.
boomer,
Yeah.
you can hear puking in the background. The smoker's
or
got
you
like
dun, 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 dun.
It's like
the
coughing,
smoker.
you're
You
running.
hear like a.
Yeah. What's the big
literally
tank
like
thing
he's
called?
coughing up phlegm.
Sorry,
Like he's coughing
that's
up phlegm.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the big tank. As soon as you hear that,
tank.
everyone
Oh,
runs.
yeah, Jesus.
Everyone just leaves. Like,
But the music changes for the tank,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
So,
and
but I like the jockey in number 2. When he grabs onto your back,
Yeah.
and then
Oh,
one of the
yeah.
character goes, "Holy
Yeah.
shit, that thing's riding him!"
brilliant. See, this is what I'm saying. I'll get confused with because that's the one we recently played. I'll get confused with which one.
I
but-
really do like 2. I'm not gonna lie, because
Yeah.
you can bring the characters
Yeah.
over from 1 and redo
yeah,
2
yeah.
all over with them. But 1 is a good shout. It's like I love the opening thematic to that as well. It's like this needs to be a movie.
What's that level with the plane?
But one
My
of them
God.
wasn't.
That's the first one.
That's
Yeah.
one,
But
yeah,
one of
that's
them was a
brilliant.
movie. Like the characters isn't like their back history. One of them is a.
One of them
movie
is
star,
yes, you're
isn't it?
right. Yes.
And one of them is like a jock or something, like a baseball player or
Yep.
something silly like that.
Oh my God, that thing's riding.
But even do you remember the loading screens used
Yeah,
to have
yeah.
the movie posters that
They
they made
did,
up, and
yeah,
it was
yeah.
so good.
And what was also great is it was another one with a different dynamic for the multiplayer because you could either play as co-op or you could play against each other. And when you
right.
played against each other, you could choose the zombie you wanted to be.
If you wanted to be, yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
you could
yes,
be,
yes,
you could be
yeah.
one of the other,
Yeah.
and then chase them down in that way. And that was quite cool. And they never kept it. You would flip. So like you'd do one game as the people, and then the next game would be the zombies.
Yeah.
So you would never get stale being
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
people all the time. Or you wouldn't be able to stick as one or the other.
Each level's different because it's all enemies are randomized, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and then because you
And
play
that's what
through
made
it,
you come back
yeah.
because there wasn't many levels. So
And you got to increase the difficulty if
Yes.
you complete it, and oh man, and getting achievements for that was badass. But yeah, my whole like, first year,
Such a good game, and it's Valve as well. Fucking
Yes.
love Valve.
yeah, no, that's why I failed, and I'm here doing a podcast.
That's my line. You can't say that.
But yeah, like first year was great, man. It was really good tech. You would have enjoyed it because you could literally like build your game and you can put it connected to the Xbox and stuff. But as soon as us guys just sort of left with dead, we were like, yeah,
I remember you did that with
We
your
like-
house when you brought the TV down.
Yeah.
You just connected both of the 360 together.
so good. Yeah, that's mine.
I'm glad you put it in there because
Yeah.
I was gutted I took it out. So
Did it for you.
nice. Over to Mario, number 5.
Early entry for the night. Microsoft made game. Came out in 2007. And it's a sequel to the comic series that followed the first 2 games. And it's Halo 3.
Nice.
I knew someone was
Okay.
going to put Halo in it.
Yeah, well, it had to be done because Halo was the game that came or was the kind of cornerstone for the original Xbox. And I was trying to think, which one did I play? Did I play 2 on it? And then I was like, no, I played 3 because you had the multiplayer on that was the one that got you there. Like
Yep.
you could fly in this one. You had your jetpack, the hammer that came into it, and you also had the
Is
Super
that the
Bowl.
one where he's floating? He's in space. You start in the ship.
You start in the shit, yeah.
I always get confused.
Yeah, I mean, they all start slightly similarly,
Yeah.
but different at the same time. And it was the first one where everything didn't look pixelated or polygons. It actually
And it
looked
looks
smooth.
nice, proper
and,
sci-fi. Yeah.
and the back settings and everything else like that, all the backdrops to each of the levels as well,
Actually picking
changed
up, yeah.
massively. Like they looked like matte paintings rather than actual
Yeah.
kind
Yeah,
of
it,
like.
it literally looked like something from a painting. Like when you see
yeah.
the
It's that blur
artists-
effect when you get closer to it, then the computer loads it up. And there
Yeah.
wasn't any of that in
No,
Halo 3. No.
this was like super smooth. You were running through the games. Like multiplayer was immense because like you would chase each other down, you kill each other, but instead of waiting for a spawn like you do on like Call of Duty and stuff like that, it's almost instantaneous. So you then suddenly appear somewhere else on the map, and that was the thing about this. It was the first kind of matchmaking that put people who have
Yeah, same.
relatively the same
Yeah.
skill against each other as well. But also like the gameplay was great. You actually got to play as the Arbiter as well for the first time. So you actually got to play
The story
as,
mode, don't you? You switch.
yeah, switch between the two, and in multiplayer as well. You got
Yeah.
to choose what your character was,
right.
choose the armors, and also you got to then, as you powered up, choose your different armor as you went through. So when you've gone through the game once, you could make your own Halo kind of Centurion armor and all this sort of stuff. It's such a great game.
Is that the ending when Arbiter's driving the Warthog
Yeah,
and
it is.
Master Chief's on
Yeah.
the minigun?
That's it.
Yes,
And the
yeah.
surface is breaking down.
That's
right?
it. Surface breaking
Yeah.
down, and the whole thing is to try and stop them Forerunner
That's it.
device being activated.
Yes.
And what else is really cool is the kind of breakdown of Cortana, where like
Yes.
because in 2,
She's dying in this one.
well,
isn't it?
in 2 he's got rid of her, hasn't he? Like
Yeah, and then
He has to find her.
he has to find it,
isn't
and
he?
the shadows of her still inside his suit, which apparently carries on from the. I didn't read the comic books, but apparently this is a direct. So between 2 and 3, they've released some comic books, and it follows the story into 3.
Between the two.
So if you'd played 2, read the books, and then played 3, then the opening sequence in 3 makes sense to what's happened in between. But yeah, the Cortana thing, where like you're walking through things to try and get to the Ark, I think it is, and you're running through, and Cortana just flashes, and you stop and pause, and you're almost like brain fucked by her suddenly turning up in your head, and then she says a few things in a ghostly voice, and then disappears again. It's so good.
It's the flood in this one. Or is that
Yes,
not
they
mixed
are.
up?
Yeah, they're in this one. Yeah.
1 and 3 they're in, aren't they?
Yeah.
What's the one where you see the ship come crashing and that's got the flood on it? I always get confused, man.
I think
That
that's
might
this
be,
one.
I think it's 3.
I think it's
3?
this one. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you come like around the side of a mountain. As you
Yeah.
come around the mountain, it hits,
Yeah.
and then as you start doing the Forerunner, kind of keep coming up towards
Yeah.
you, and the flood. Yeah, it's insane.
good.
And the weapons change in this one as well because they stop. Then you stop the needle gun stop being double gun. Do you
Yes.
remember that?
Yeah,
Yes, it was dual wielding
It
in
was
the
dual
second one,
wielding
wasn't
in the
it?
second
Yeah.
one, and in the first one you could dual wield as well. But in this one they took it out because it was too powerful, which I think
But
was
I
a
believe
great
they changed.
idea.
I believe they changed the bar configuration for the 3 anyway, because like
Yes.
RB was to reload instead of X and all that sort of stuff. So
And there's a few
yeah.
other odds and sods as well. Like you could actually aim down the sight of the sniper rifle now.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't
Yeah.
before. You couldn't.
It goes
actually-
into that little screen, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Before you couldn't aim
Yeah.
down the sight. Like you couldn't actually pull up like the sights for any of the weapons. You were just running through blasting things, and you had your little sight in the game. But I just think it was just
some
such
good
a great
multiplayer
game.
maps in that
It
game
was
as
so
well.
good. This was the first kind of multiplayer kind of. I don't play multiplayers now. I just can't be bothered with it. But like the first one where it was multiplayer and it was worth playing. Like you say, the maps were great. The little hidey places, you could chuck grenades in things. There were little
Had
cheats.
vehicles in the matches as well.
That's it.
wasn't
Yeah. You had all the warthogs and
The
yeah.
ghosts that you just run people.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah. And the first time I think you could actually jump on the ghost and put a grenade in it.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And yeah, there's so many different things to this game. and so many
Is this the
different
one with the
weapons.
big scorpion? Is it
Yeah,
scorpion?
scorpion. Yeah.
that's it, yeah.
You get on it in 2, but then there's another one in 3. You have to like actually take out the legs, and then jump onto
Yeah,
it.
that's it.
Well, one of my favorite things about it was Halo's, because obviously, again, I don't do online, but the split screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how I played it with my brothers. I think both my brothers, it's their favorite Halo game, number 3.
Do you remember it had the murder ball map thing you could play on it as well? So it was like an American football thing, but you were playing.
But it was with skulls, wasn't it?
It was
Instead
with
of
skulls,
something?
yeah. And it was the first time the skulls you could actually, as you got them in the game, you could add them to your board, so you could add your cheats.
Your brother
essentially,
Courage
or
was always
shortcuts,
hunting for skulls in that game.
yeah.
And every time you get
They were
certain
trying to
ones,
100% it, weren't it? Yeah.
Every time you kind of looked at this, I think this is the first one I actually got all the skulls for. And then after that, it was like, I just want to play the game. Fuck this.
Just play the goddamn game
I'm not
already.
going to climb up this mountain, jump over there. Now I've got to jump, double jump, and then I've got to use the rocket. No, fuck it. I'm just going to play the game. It's not worth it. But yeah, the skulls would give you a little bit extra in each level and stuff.
That's it, yeah.
And the weapons would like say
There was
completely
something
different.
about every time you pick up a weapon or you run out of ammo, I'm going to try this. Even the little pistol.
Yeah, you can charge it up and
if
double
you have
gun it.
double of them, it's like even better. Like
Just keep firing them out.
So good.
And the first time, the little, I can't remember what the name of them is, but the little ones from the first one that have this weird kind of gas mask thing on, and you could headshot them if you got them right with the actual.
The little monkey thing.
Yeah, if you have the Magnum and you fire it just right, get them in the head, you could actually headshot them and take them out in one shot, as opposed to like usually you'd fire like 6 or 7 different shots and you'd be like, oh, come on, just die.
I love in the later games of Halo that the Magnum comes even more powerful as it goes.
It's so good. Like
Even
you could take the armor out with one hit.
Yeah.
There's the shield gone, perfect.
You know the one with the shield?
Yep.
Then you got to get it between the gaps.
jackals.
Between the the
Yeah.
jackals.
Jackals, that's it.
That's it. I thought it was such a great game.
I love the little grunts. Run away!
He's here.
Is it? He's here! Run away! Nice. Anything
There you
else on Halo 3?
No, that's it from me.
Nice. My number 5. Let me just check quickly. Yes, my number 5 is not a Xbox exclusive. It was through all other platforms, so PS3, PC, whatnot. And this was kind of like my introduction to open world games. I was very either third person or first person shooter type person before I played this game. So I had to mention this because I spent hours and hours and hours. This is probably the last game I ever binged before I had family, and it is Far Cry 3.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Far Cry 3. Far Cry 3 has to probably be in my top 10 of video games of all time.
It's got the greatest opening sequence.
Yes.
Right? Come on.
yeah.
It's
Is
so
this the
good.
one? Is this the one with the white, like the Mohawk guy?
That's
like,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know
It
the
locks you in a
definition
cage,
between
yeah.
insanity?
Yeah.
This is
'cause
the-
did you know you can complete that game in like 10 minutes?
Yeah,
Yes.
I've
Yeah.
heard this.
Every Far Cry game you can do
Can
that.
you?
Yes, you
Yeah.
can. Yeah.
No, like that was my first ever Far Cry, and I'm kind of pissed off. I totally forgot all about this game.
Oh no way!
Like,
Really?
so am I as well, yeah.
This would definitely made the list. Like this is an awesome game, and it was my first ever one into it, and it was a reason why I was sort of excited for. Was it? Do you remember Wildlands? Was
Yes.
it Tom?
Yes,
Yeah, because of the setting that I had in that, I was looking forward to playing that game. You know, all because this whole crafting thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it was brilliant, and it was so new. And I think there's some quality sort of soundtrack music.
The
Oh,
thing,
yeah,
but
yeah.
the thing with 2, they tried to make it Far Cry was GTA in Africa
Yes,
or whatnot,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it was
It was
terrible.
awful. It was
absolutely
absolutely
terrible. But a friend of mine knew I liked the franchise. I played the first one on the PC, and he gave it to me as a Christmas gift of that year. And I'm like, I don't really want to play this. I have no interest to play this. So I thought, I've got nothing else to play. Let's pop this fucker in and give it a try. And it was, like you said, like Mario said, I was hooked from start.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a first-person shooter, but it's open world at the same time.
I just love liberating the.
So like the secret rooms and all the, like I say, liberate the camps, the abilities you can get every time you get a new ability, your arm gets
Yeah,
tattooed
yeah,
on and
tattoos.
whatnot. The guns you can do,
Yep.
soundtrack. You said we talked about this on the first person
This is
shooter
all
episode.
weed flower.
The weed farm when you,
Skrillex.
Yeah.
That's it, and you get the flamethrower and you just burn it out. It is, oh my god!
And that continues through in all the other games as well. From that point
Absolutely.
forward, like, because I played the latest one, and the latest one is like you go into a massive weed farm again.
Yep.
And you have to set fire to all of the weed.
Exactly.
And all,
Yep. And it's like you said, there's so much is carried on from 3 onto
Yeah.
4. There's a primal. There's a caveman one, whatnot. It's like tradition. There's like even a part where you always get drugs and you have a space out trippy moment.
Yeah.
It's in all the other ones as well. But
They started to license out the characters now, haven't they?
Yeah,
so
like-
you got Gus.
and like you said about the opening. Like everyone has them now that you can finish it in the first 10 minutes and whatnot. But I do love how they're all different as well. Like they're all set in a different place.
Yeah,
but,
they don't follow on, do they?
Yeah.
You don't have to play
but 3 was the first time
Did they
I was
follow
just.
I don't know. I was
No.
trying to think. I think
They,
because it
The
went
last-
3.
the
Was
last
it
two,
Primeval?
yeah.
Like it went back to mammoths.
so you had 3, you
Yeah.
had 4, and you had the primal one, which was basically 4 rehashed, but primal
Yeah.
time. Then 5 came out, which is in North America, and then the other one is like South America now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Number
well,
6.
the other one's in like a Cuban kind of.
That's it. That's the
island
one.
thing,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's all the same story. You go there, liberate a city, get the rebels back, and
Yeah,
defeat
yeah.
the bad guy. But this one was the one that just got me hooked. Like as soon as I finished the mission, I was like, "Oh, now I've got to go and do this and do that," and it was just giving me stuff that I wanted all over. And I just absolutely spent weeks on it and days and months and 100% in it. And then this was the time when you can actually look on YouTube now when you tried to find a location, but then you just
Yeah.
couldn't get to it. How do I get to it? Good God, this game is brilliant. I have like 3 different versions of it. I've got it on the 360, the Xbox One, the new Xbox now. I've got it on my Steam Deck. I absolutely love this game, and I'm so grateful that I decided to actually put it in, give it a try, even though it was not my type of game at the time. And look where I am now. I'm absolutely hooked on games like this now.
I
So
don't. Yeah, the latest one isn't as good.
no, of course not.
But it has some redeeming features. But then it sets 3 sets up all the others, and it was the reason that when they did a deal a while ago on the store that I went in and went, do you know what, I'm just going to buy it, and it was all the games, all of
Nice.
them, and I was just like, yeah. And the only one they didn't have was the first and the second, but they had 3 onwards.
It's not
Do they
bad.
have
The first
Blood
one's-
Dragon?
Blood Dragon's
Blood
amazing.
Dragon.
I was about to
Oh my
say
God.
that.
I haven't played Blood Dragon.
Blood Dragon's awesome.
Dude, it's the best ever. And Blood Dragon is in every Far Cry
No.
since 3. Like he pops up, like if there's a movie poster room or something or whatnot, it's always there. Oh my God.
That soundtrack.
Oh my God, it's killer. It's amazing.
I need to play that.
But yeah, please play it. Please play Far Cry 3. And I've got nothing else to say, so let's go to the number 4s.
Number 4.
Over to you, Chris. With your number 4. We haven't clashed yet. It's coming.
So my number 4, I believe, was kind of like a rebirth for like superhero games. Because before, I thought they were pretty pants. You know, they were pretty shit.
Yeah, we've
were
done an episode on this, yeah.
And like they were kind of disappointing, even for the IP. It did not save the game. This one was released in 2009.
Oh, I hate you. Oh, I know this one. Go, Chris, go.
It's Batman Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
Nice.
Such a great game.
Yeah. So like,
Honorable mention from me.
Yeah.
So this one was one that my mate was like, "Have you played the new Batman game?" And I was like,
Badass.
No, they've all been shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. This one's good. And now this one had the stealth element of Batman is awesome. And what was groundbreaking was the fighting and how fluid this.
It set the precedent for other.
Because I don't think they
superhero
actually copyrighted the
mechanic.
and they lost out because everybody's just rinsed it now, and it now becomes the combo.
The chain. And then you can do things in a certain fashion. So you'd like, it was a proper button basher if you want it to be a button basher, or you could then press another button and it would change how you pick someone up or move someone around, and
or dodge,
or you could link, or all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, because there was bits because it starts off with you escorting the Joker into Arkham, and like the whole visuals.
It was dodgy from the beginning.
It was great, but you just obviously it's all going to go to shit, but like it just feels like you're watching a proper sort of movie. They do it so well, and there's bits in the game where there was one bit where I actually thought I got done, like I thought I died, and then you realise that you're getting fucked by Scarecrow.
That's it.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh shit, like it proper.
And all those Scarecrow sequences
are amazing, like the Overwatch and
there's the one as well where the screen just goes fuzzying off, and you're like, oh shit, what's just happened here? Like, have I just and then on comes the Scarecrow and
Scarecrow.
So many Easter eggs in that game.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Literally little posters and little voice notes and like
it's almost like a museum of DC characters. If you look at that game, I love that.
I mean, the issues it had was that you had the same, like the grey guy and the red guy, and and depending on like obviously the red guy was harder, but it didn't take away from any of the fun.
No.
And I found pretty much every boss kind of difficult. Like you kind of learn the pattern.
Yeah.
The only one that I did not struggle with was the last boss, the Joker. I don't even think I died once, and I should never have to do it.
It's one of the easiest bosses ever,
I should never have to do an end boss without dying.
Was Bane in this one?
Bane's
in
this
one.
He gets hung up, doesn't he? And he gets taken all down, and then he gets pumped with venom, and then
it's the sewer part with Killer Croc.
Yes.
That part scares me.
You have to walk across because you're walking like almost on barrels, aren't you?
Yeah.
Right. You have to look for the ripples to see if he's going to pop up.
And then you throw the batarang as he comes up.
That's
and then, keep
right in the intro, when you see him in that lift, it's like, no way. Like, this, like you know that you're going to face him later on. That's badass.
Yeah, and the Joker does his bit great of like narrating the story and like kind of forcing you the way, and there's bits like where he doesn't want you to kill. Obviously that's his thing, isn't it? And it's just there's so many bits like he's like no, because they're like just kill him now, and it's like you get it over and done with.
Doesn't kill.
No, but the Joker could kill him so many. There's times that he's got him dead to rights.
Yeah,
He just
want that's what they're like, isn't it?
But I like the fact that the game feels so big considering it's all in one building. It's just at Arkham Asylum, isn't it? So
it's just in that one place.
But you go to so many levels and drop to so many floors.
You go outside for a little bit, then you come back inside for a little bit, and then there's little bits.
You can glide through, can't you?
What it had great was its grappling hook and the way that you could go up in the rafters and on the gargoyles and come down.
Do the detective mode.
Like the sonar, and you take them.
Yeah.
You hang, didn't you?
See, for me, every section had to be done pure
stealth.
Pure stealth. If I got caught, I kind of want to restart it. That was my way of
not doing it right.
No, the only way I wanted to go fighting was if the game forced me into it. That was my game.
Because it's one of them where it does that, doesn't it? It's like you can't exit the room until you've beaten all the guys, and it's like a theatre wooden boarded room, and they're up on the Joker and Harley, I think, are up in the kind of corner, and they're like, "Oh yeah, come and get us if you can," and you can't see any opening, and then you beat them all up, and then all of a sudden there's a light goes on, and you're like, "Oh, I can get up there now."
Yeah, because then it added was it Riddler trophies, and I think
Riddler
it was
trophies.
in there.
God damn, those Riddler trophies.
Commissioner
is like,
Gordon, was there a
as much
Commissioner
as I
Gordon
try,
things,
I
or was
just
that
can't.
in a different one. Well, I don't know if there was another, maybe a collectible that you
So
could.
there was a couple of collectibles in it. There was, I don't know if, I think Riddler trophies was in this one.
Definitely Riddler.
Yeah,
Wasn't there the Arkham Legends? So you would go along and there'd be like tablets on the wall. There was pictures. You had to take photographs of certain things.
Yeah, you got to
as
scan them in
well.
the detective mode. Yeah.
That's it. And you would get kind of
And
clips
your-
on there. Yeah.
your bat
Yeah.
Yeah.
where it puts it in the foam
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the bat symbol.
That's
it-
Yeah,
What did you
the
get? to
bat gel. Yeah,
There was upgrades, but I can't remember what was it. The
So it was so you get the grappling hook with
and a
then become-
shocker was
yeah.
in there, and
you get the straight, the back claw
Yeah,
that
the
goes
back-
straight
yeah.
as well.
okay.
what else
But he
is there?
doesn't essentially get stronger like an RPG.
Oh no.
Yeah,
no.
just
wasn't there a way of
So
getting
you
the
get
old?
extra moves.
That's it. Yeah,
That was
that's
it. So it's like
Suit.
You get like an upgraded suit.
Yeah,
like
you
the
could
one
get the
I-
old Batman
Yeah.
1967 one,
That's
the
it.
grey one.
and it was like Jedi Survivor. So as you went through it and you got certain levels, you now if you press this and do this,
That's
you can
it.
now pick the guy up
Added
and
moves,
throw
that's
him
it,
and
yeah.
launch him or
Yeah, but this one normally I find that these games are either short and really good,
Yeah.
or they're kind of just long but a great. This
I
one
think it was
did-
just the right pace.
Yeah, this one was just enough where it didn't feel short, and it felt like I got a value for it. If I paid for it, sort of thing. But
It told a great
like,
story as well. It
it was a
such
full
great story,
value
yeah.
for money game. You didn't feel like, oh fuck, that was great, but I paid 40 quid for
Yeah.
a 6-hour game. Here.
One thing I love, and I've talked about it before, is in the beginning of the game, his suit is immaculate.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
by the end of it,
It's
it's
battered.
torn. and it's
Yeah.
like, I love little details like that. It's amazing.
Yeah, because it's all meant to be
absolutely amazing.
one night, isn't
Yeah.
it? It does all this.
The reason it would have been on my list, but I didn't play it on the Xbox. I played it on the
No.
PS.
I mean, it's
is.
quite a weird you pick that because I've recently been playing Arkham Knight on
Yeah.
my Steam Deck. Rocksteady, I'm not gonna lie, I think this is
They-
one of the best superhero trilogies
Yeah.
on video game.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
by far near perfect. I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
people diss Arkham
the
Knight. I
only
don't
reason-
mind Arkham
Arkham
Knight.
Knight's
So the
very
reason
good.
that this
The
number
only thing-
3 is because they don't like the car mechanic. There's too many car. In
Yeah,
the
there's
number.
that, but also some of the fight mechanic is a bit off. I think so. 1 and 2, so Origins and Arkham Asylum, the fight mechanic is spot on. Like you hit the buttons and they're responsive. There seems to be, and it's the same with Gotham Knights as well. There's like a lag in when you hit the buttons and they don't necessarily
they
respond
need to
quick
tweak
enough.
it.
Yeah, it just seems like something in the game is just not quite polished. And that, but Knight is still 100% playable.
It's
And,
still
and if you play it in the stealth mode, like you're saying, Chris, like
Yeah.
Knight in stealth mode, then you can go in, pick people up, time to the ceiling.
That's
yeah.
just what I
Graphics
want
still
from
holds
like
up.
the
Yeah.
game.
But yeah,
Batman
they
and that bit.
definitely hold up still. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It was ahead of its time, that game, when it came out.
Yeah, I just remember playing it for so long, and then wasn't there was it a battle or a challenge
Yep.
section of the game? So when you'd done the game, you had to
You
do
could
like
actually have a horde mode.
yeah
essentially,
battle
into it.
royales,
Yeah,
and you got to
Yeah,
complete these
that's
guys.
insane.
And,
I couldn't do.
Yeah.
I can't do 100%.
no, but it just gave enough to like
keep it
oh
going.
we can
yeah.
we can play that now,
Yeah.
or we can play in like the old Batman suit or
But do you remember when you died in the game?
Yes.
Like, whoever character you were fighting at the time, they would look
He'd
down
come
at you
down
like,
on
like
you.
your body was dead, and they
Hiya,
look down at you.
Bats.
It's like, oh, so sorry to see you're dead, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's so good.
So good. And it's good they got the actual animated
Yeah,
voice
it was
acting.
Yeah.
Kevin Conroy,
That's it.
Mark
R.I.P.
Hamill,
Karen Conroy.
R.I.P.
and it was Arlene Sorkin as well. She did the original voice of Harley Quinn, and it was also written by Paul Dini.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
the game
Batman's
was
just
written by
so
Paul Dini.
so proper like
Hey.
Batman. He's dark
Yeah.
and he's like just moody and he's a quality Batman in that one.
Hands down one of the best.
Yeah.
Because I liked 2, I thought it was good, but I played that on the PlayStation because I
Yeah.
got this, and I never got the
Yeah, Gotham City was like the first one up to 11.
Yeah.
It was the perfect sequel.
But then I got told by everyone not kind of slating the new one's kind of rubbish, and I never or
The new one?
well not the new one, the third one,
Right, right.
The
That was still
Arkham-
good. It's still
No,
The
good.
one that you just said was good.
Yeah, Arkham Knight,
when
yeah,
it first come out, there was a bit of a it's not a touch on the other two, and I just kind of
The
I
problem
just
was,
never bought it in the end.
The problem
No,
was
you
if
could
you're
play
a Batman fan, you knew who the Arkham Knight was anyway. But I mean, I didn't mind the Batmobile side of it because you see it in 1 and 2, but you never played in it. And then when you got to do it, I mean, played recently. I'm driving through Gotham City, breaking it. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. Listen, it's actually amazing.
Don't they bring the car to you or so?
You can alert it and you can get it turn up.
It comes
next
to you.
year.
Yeah.
It's so good, man.
Doesn't it? You can
The jet turns up as
what's
well.
it called? Glide and into your car and
Do it all, mate.
Wow.
Batman stuff.
It's also, I can't remember which one it is, but you get to play as Azrael as well, which I think is also really cool.
Yes, yeah, you have to find him, don't you?
Yeah,
and
you
do
find
challenges
him,
with
yeah.
him and whatnot.
And then you
Yeah.
get
And there's
to-
also you be I can't remember if it's part 2 or number 2
Part
whether
2,
you're gliding and there's this bat creature.
That's three.
Man bat.
That's 3, isn't it? Yeah. That scared the shit out of me. I was like,
But
what the?
there's loads of them because there's also little side quests you could be as Robin or Nightwing or
The whole
yeah.
three
How
games.
they,
It's
how
like
they
an
bring in
archive
all
of
the
like,
villains, so it's not
Yeah.
just your Joker, your Bane. Mad Hatter pops up in like
Yeah.
one of the best side
Yeah.
missions ever.
And in 2 you then go and find his shop.
Yes, that's it. Yeah,
It's like a collection of all like a museum of.
But you never get tired of the villains either. This
Yeah.
is what's great as well. Like the villains in it, and Zas, like he shows up. Well, they mention him in the first game, and then they come back to the second game with his victims around the city and all that stuff. Zas is
yeah, and you have to find them, don't you? Yes,
Zas
that's it.
is such an underrated character
And
as
then
well.
when you actually
Calendar
defeat
Man.
the bosses, I'm not even talking about number 3, but you take them back into the police station in the back of the boot of this car.
Yeah, you got,
That's
it's
awesome.
good.
And in the first one where you go into the cells, but you go into the cells of each individual villain and stuff like. There's the one for Calendar Man. You turn up, it's got the calendar.
It's
on
got
the wall.
something
Yeah,
there to
and you have
signify who they
Freeze,
are.
Mr.
Yeah,
Freeze.
Mr. Freeze as well. Yeah,
So
yeah,
cool.
so good.
As I was saying, so many Easter eggs.
Yeah, it's a good pick, mate. Very good pick.
no, it's
Honorable
good.
mention from me. Yeah, fantastic pick. Biggest Gears.
My number 4 is I believe it came out. I want to say it was a launch title, but I don't think so. Dead Rising.
I don't think it was a launch.
Not a
title.
launch title, but
No.
yeah,
Was it a
but
year
wasn't
after?
it? But at the time, it
Is
was a
this the
360
mall-
exclusive.
The
Yeah.
more with the
360.
countdown.
Yes, yeah.
That's it.
You
Yeah.
three days.
I don't think I don't think I ever got
No,
No, but-
really anywhere like my mate did, but like whenever I played it, it was just
Is this one
I was
where it's
just
like almost
dying.
like a horde mode
Yeah.
sort of thing?
yeah, it was all
Constantly.
the time essentially.
So
Yeah.
yeah, you've got essentially got 74 hours. So the chopper drops you off at the mall,
Yeah.
and then it's getting chased by these other helicopters.
Frank West. Is it?
Yeah, Frank West, and he's basically a photographer, and he wants to take photos and come back and show.
I remember
what's
this.
going
You can get like a chainsaw and run through it, and
It's
there's,
anything.
Yeah.
anything
pick
you
up.
want,
Yeah.
and you just
It was. I'm going to say it was actually quite hard. I reckon.
It is
was-
hard. I
It
mean,
was hard.
I bought it because of the Dawn of the Dead fan.
Yeah,
we all know it's
100%,
spectacular.
that's what- yeah.
Is why I bought this game.
Yeah.
I played it. I wasn't the biggest fan of
Did
it.
you not
I'll be
like it?
honest.
I personally hated the count. I don't like countdown. I don't mind a countdown bit, but
Yeah, the whole game.
a whole countdown. I don't like that. Well, where you just lose
Yeah.
your stuff. Same, I think Zelda did it on Majora's Mask.
Majora's
Yes,
Mask, yeah.
yeah.
You got to get it done.
Kinda, you
be
lose
honest,
the
it-
shit, and it kind of like you get so far. And I found that the game lived and died on patterns and like you learning your
Yeah.
route
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
You got to go here, you got to go there, and every time you die, you're a little bit better, and you just keep.
The
progressing.
only the time didn't annoy me. The only annoying thing is when you had to rescue people, and then they become your
God
camper.
forbid.
No, and you had to, and they were a pain in the arse. Right? They'd get stuck because obviously.
Oh yeah,
it's-
because you had to get them back, didn't
that's
you?
it.
So yeah.
So those are the only thing. But apart from that, but it was a.
It's just been remastered, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. It says, and for me, it was just like zombies. You're coming fresh from Resident Evil, and there's a whole of zombies.
I mean, the
and
game was eye-catching for
Yeah.
its time, and it was just like,
you
wow,
can
it was
literally
nuts.
like pick up like
it's compatible with like all these
Yeah.
moving zombies in one screen, whatnot. It was very
you can
clever.
literally like take a bench off the floor and just start whacking people. Lawnmower. Well, I don't know if that was in that.
Anything you can find. It was like
Literally
a
it.
cash point or something.
That's it. Whack them. A sledgehammer.
You did feel the dread though. Like
was-
there
yeah.
was
Yeah,
there was
there
that element which a zombie like you should be fearing.
But the only
Yeah.
thing is, they will only get like as you play it, you realize there's one in the back. They're not going to come after you. So it's just when you're first playing, they're all going to come after me, sort of thing. So you kind of figure out the patterns as well.
Wasn't there something to do with the red eyes? If one had red eyes, it would do something. Or am I thinking of a different game?
I can't remember. I can't remember.
It might be. That might be State of Decay. But anyway,
You're scaring me now.
comment below. Let us know if it is.
But yeah, I just thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's like what you said. Like, I love the setting in a mall, getting trapped in there, and just exploring. And there were some wacky bosses in there, some crazy. I think there's some sort of like weirdness to one of the which they've removed in the remastered.
Oh, have they?
A lot of people were saying, "Oh, why did they do that?" Blah blah blah. But I just had a whole blast. I remember just playing.
Why?
Concert.
What was it they got rid of?
I can't remember. It was something that the character was Chinese and he was a bit weird, or I can't remember.
Dude, you used to see the bosses in Dead Rising 3.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised. Like, there's one that's got like a massive penis gun in it. It's like,
Isn't that a weapon as well? There's a weapon.
it's a weapon.
Christ.
Dead Rising 3 is amazing.
Yeah, it's just a good
It's
fun.
literally the one I
fun
really
game.
liked.
And especially coming from Resident Evil, more serious, and this was more laid back. And I just have a horde of monsters.
It was a fun
it's
game
such
in a way, wasn't
good
it?
Jokes. I had to put it in there, 100%.
No, I'm surprised you put it because at the time it was an exclusive, wasn't it? And then PS3 had it like a year later or something,
Everything
wasn't it?
comes to PlayStation. Well,
Eventually, yes. Nice. Is that it? Anything else on that?
That's it.
Nice, good pick, Dead Rising. Over to Mario, number 4, sir.
So my number 4, I needed a Zelda fix. I don't know about the rest of you, but there was no RPGs that were worth playing on the Xbox until the first one came out on the Xbox.
Oh, I
and
know
it
what
was
you're gonna say.
Fable. And this
Nice.
is Fable 2.
Nice.
Oh, I see.
Because
I only
Fable
played the
1
first one.
So Fable 1 was available on the original, the Xbox.
It's quite a
However,
short game, though, isn't it?
Fable 2 came. Yeah, both of the Fables weren't that long, but they were just really enjoyable. They're just such a great.
Again, choice heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you needed your there hadn't been a Zelda style game on the Xbox or any not even on the PlayStation. The PlayStation's kind of role playing games. You've either got Final Fantasy or you're kind of going down the routes of Left 4 Dead or whatever, these sort of games. So Fable kind of brings it to the Xbox. Like, you have this Zelda style puzzle game. You get to choose your look, you get to choose how you dress and all this sort of stuff, and you get to then go into the city or the villages, and you have to seek them out and help them out here, there, and everywhere. It was such a great choice-driven game, like you say, and it spawned something in my house, which is like it's now officially bedtime, because at one point when it goes dark in the game, wherever you are, somebody yells out at the top of their lungs that line. And you're just like, oh, okay, fair enough.
So what side did you go? Or did you play it more than once to do both sides?
I played it both sides. So the first time I didn't realise that we could do two sides. So I played it the first time, really good, straight-laced. Oh, this is the good
You
choice.
get the halo, right?
Yeah, you get the halo, and then towards the end you get the flames. And it's fucking brilliant.
It's such a
You're
Such a
looking forward
great
to the
game.
new one?
I am. I've only just realised it was when I was doing research for this. I was like, when did this come out? And was it on that? Yes, it was. Brilliant. This is going in. And then I was like, what's the Fable 3? When's that coming out?
Yeah.
I need that game. It's so good. And it's such an open world as well. Like, although it's like you say, such a short game, it's just such a wide open world to go into Albion, the name of the little village.
That's right, yes. I was trying to remember the name.
And you go into there, your hero's name, he's referred to by all the characters, no matter what you name yourself. Hello, little sparrow.
Yes.
So you're and you go around the game and the old ladies and the witches and everything, and your character kind of evolves from being kind of like a little slavey boy to like this big warrior and stuff by the end of it, or a wizard
they
or a
actually
mage.
morph.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
get bigger and stronger
Yeah,
as
yeah.
you get
As you
stronger.
get- yeah.
I love that aspect of it.
It's
man.
such
so
a, and
cool.
it's cartoony as well. This
Yes.
thing is,
Yeah.
it's not too serious. It's not too.
You
too
know, it's
kind
just
of,
having fun, sort of.
yeah, and it's a nice paced role playing
Yeah.
game, and it filled that void. Like, you don't have anything that's Zelda kind of on there, and I'm so happy they're going to do a
That
third
era
one now.
between the 360, certified banger games like that. Man.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't see games like this no
Nope.
more.
But I think that's where Mario was talking about. It stands out because it's a role play, it's an RPG, but it's not to take seriously.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
you've got so many that do. This was one
it.
you can actually have fun with it.
Yeah,
you know.
you could just change your character, or you could just kick chickens.
Yeah.
Because you could do that in Zelda, where you couldn't kick the chickens, but you could pick them up and throw them.
Right.
Am I
And so-
thinking of another game? But you could get married in this one. Is it this one?
You can get married in
You
this
can get
one.
married.
Yeah,
that's it,
yeah. You can get married in
And
this
you have
one.
a child and stuff, I think.
I
sure
think
it's this
I
one.
think you do, but I don't think it's kind of part of the game. Like, you can go back to it later on in the
Yeah.
game. Like, you can go off on your quest, and they exist somewhere else in the game. And then when you come back, oh yes, they've left and gone. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, brilliant. That was a worthwhile game. part of the game.
I'll
but-
start again.
Yeah. But like you could choose all your spells as you went through. Your character options were massive. Your weapons as well, and it wasn't quite like the Master Sword and stuff like that from Zelda. You can go through, you can get them, forge your weapons, and pick up weapons as you go. It was such a great game, great RPG game for the Xbox 360 for Microsoft. Full stop. And being that it's a Microsoft in-house kind of jobby, it stood out. Like
100%.
it's like Nintendo and Zelda.
And where has it been all this time? I don't understand why they've.
I don't know why they.
sleep.
Yeah, I don't know why
I don't understand that.
2 just finished and it vanished. Like 2 was the last one they made, and then like you've just said,
Yeah.
yeah,
waiting
3 years
for
on
years.
its way.
There was meant to be one for the Connect, wasn't it? Fabled Journeys, and
Yeah.
then obviously Connect busted and whatnot. But yeah, now that they mentioned it this year, wasn't it? And then I think it's due out next year, isn't it? Now,
I can't wait. Yeah, I'm really.
It
Looking
was one on my list, but I really loved the original one.
Yeah, the original one was.
But
really
I just
good.
couldn't remember anything about number 2, so I just had to scrap it from
So
my list.
number 1 led me into number 2, but number 2 is just like more customizable. So when you first start the game, you can do all the silly face morphs that you could normally do, but they were all cartoony. You could add your clothes and stuff. Go into the shops. And
This
change
wasn't
your
the
look.
first one, was it?
No, but it was what needed to be there to kind of carry on that kind of, I suppose legacy is the wrong word, but like that kind of game into the Xbox, because you didn't have anything. I can't remember the last.
It was more like it was Street Xbox was more Street, like a serious game.
Yeah.
And those kind of games were like a bit of a void and don't appear. When that does turn out, it was actually pretty good.
Yeah. So there you go. My number 4, Fable 2.
Nice. Good pick, sir.
Thank you.
Honorable mention from me. So my number 4, I rejected those answers. Instead, I chose something different. I chose the impossible. I chose Rapture. BioShock. And I know it's in yours.
Yes. So I nearly put this on my list.
Yeah.
Daddy.
But I
Nearly?
did not play it. So I played it on the PC
Okay.
because
I let you off.
I couldn't get it for the Xbox at the time.
Sorry. I'll
sorry.
carry on anyway.
Yeah.
So BioShock, most gamers know it, but if you don't know what it is, it's set in the 50s, it's set underwater, city underwater, and it's basically like a first-person shooter with kind of horror elements to it and whatnot. Don't want to go too much because it is full of spoilers if I talk too much about it. But
The story is sick. It's
It's very cyberpunk kind of.
exactly.
Like, yeah.
And this steampunk,
Sorry,
yeah.
not cyberpunk, you're right.
But like I said, going on earlier on, I was playing first-person shooters and whatnot, and this at the time was a 360 exclusive. I actually still own the box that has it stamped 360 exclusive. Until a year later, PlayStation were like,
oh, we want that.
What you got over there?
we want that.
Please,
so they had
sir.
it. Anyway, this was the game where when I played it, and the first time I played it, I felt the atmosphere of the game. Like, does that mean when you go
Very
in?
There is a thing about it because it's the first game where you have random radios playing in the background, but they're not full focus. Like if you play Grand Theft Auto, the radio's part of when you get in the car.
Yes.
In this, you get in the lift, there's lift music. When you get out the lift, you hear like a disjointed TV thing in the
Yeah,
background
but
somewhere.
it's always that type of era music as well and everything.
Or the machines, the vending machines and stuff. That's it.
Welcome to the circus of value.
This
All
one's,
the vending machines say that, don't they?
I'm going to do one of you. Go. This one, too fat.
No, don't say it yet. But no, but yeah, it felt so atmospheric. Like, say, when you go into Rapture, it's dark, it's desolate, it's got the 50s theme to it, but there's also underwater, so you see the outside.
I love that
through
setting. The setting.
and you see, there's obviously it's kind of bits of it are in rubble, so there's water leaking in certain places, and we never had big TVs like I do now to play these games, but I just playing in the dark and I just felt I was in Rapture.
I mean, this is a game that lends itself to VR. 100%.
Absolutely,
Horror
that would
VR,
be fantastic.
BioShock VR.
Yeah, and I don't think any game since then has made me feel the way I felt when the
100%.
first time I played this. But it's like your natural first-person shooter, isn't it? But with a little twist, you get mutagens as well. On the other hand, so you can plasmids or whatever. Yeah, so you inject yourself with certain things like a lightning one, an ice one that shoots bees, locusts, whatever it is.
Crows or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. Do you remember when 360s you could change the faceplates?
Yes.
So I had one. So I pre-ordered it from Blockbusters, and they gave me a faceplate, but it all had the barnacles on it and everything. It just looked like my 360 had been underwater for years and whatnot. It was so good.
Pirates of the Caribbean style.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, the bosses we love the bosses in this.
So cool.
I love the twist at the end of this game as well.
The sisters as well. You knew like when you heard
The big daddies, the sisters in number 2.
Okay.
But yeah, you were going on about the boss
The
as well.
first boss you run into. God, how you do it.
You come across him and he's a guy that morphs people.
Just to set it as well, it's actually like gory, like
yeah, it's
some of
horrific.
it
Yeah, obviously,
it's like you go in the first thing, like someone's getting chopped up, and then you obviously run into the first one.
Yeah, because it's weird, isn't it? Because it's a modern-ish kind of world. Like you have key cards and lifts and computer screens and stuff like that. But then you have like this kind of medieval zombie-ish kind of
they're like
villains.
splicers or something they're called, aren't they? Yeah. But yeah, there's like a guy who goes around and he body morphs people and stuff. How would you like him? But then you come across him and he's like, oh, I don't like this one. He's too fat. And this one, he's too thin. And then he looks at you and goes, who's this guy? He's ugly. And he goes after it. But there's so many little things. I mean, I don't know why no one has done something like Rapture before, It'd be so cool to do it like a theme park ride or something. You can actually go
100%.
underwater and stuff. It'd be absolutely
Don't
amazing.
forget, you use combination of the plasmids like for that.
You can use both, yeah.
You can like obviously like I think there were these kind of elements of in games, but it's where like this one stood out where like the boss is running around in water and you got like the plasmid electricity, electrocute.
or it's these silly things because you're in the world of water.
Yeah,
like you'd like be a room full of these things and you'd be like, how am I going to get? Oh, if I just zap that, they will die.
Yeah,
That's it.
Done.
And if you set fire to the boss, he belly flops into water to put it out.
Yeah.
So cool.
So
It's
good.
little things like that just make it like so immersive and so good.
Yeah, it's like I said. I think it's the world that stands out. I know you're a certain character, whatnot, but I think Rapture alone is the character of the game, and you look forward to like when the next door opens and hoping like you can see a leak cracking through. You're hoping it's not going to pierce through any minute and whatnot. Absolute fun.
Like it's like the opening where you're like going on the boat into the lighthouse.
Well, when you crash
That's
in the
it, yeah.
airplane and
Oh,
you're in the
is that-
water,
yeah,
you
and then
crash
you
in the
get on the-
airplane, then you're in the
that's
water,
it.
go to the lighthouse and
you
everything.
just know straight away you're in for a treat, like the setting and everything, and you go down.
And you can't deny the graphics for at the time were peak
Oh yeah, 100%.
at the time for that game as well. It's just a shame it went to PlayStation in the end as well. I like number 2. Do you like number 2?
I like number 2.
Yeah?
Number
Two?
two's good. Number two's good.
Now Infinite.
Yeah. I haven't played Infinite.
Okay.
It's
I
okay.
think it got to the point where I kind of tied out of those sort of games. Like, it sounds weird because I played a lot of first-person shooters, but it was like one where I just kind of, I've done it. I don't need to do it anymore. Like,
Wasn't one of the powers you get to be Big Daddy, or was that? Is that number 1 or
Number 2, you get to be Big Daddy.
you should be them or control
And that's where the
it or
big sister
something.
comes in because she's the big enemy in
That's
that
it,
one.
yeah.
But they're doing a new version, aren't they? It's not technically Bioshock, it's called Judas or something.
That's it, Judas. Yeah.
But it's Bioshock in space.
Oh,
I think it's going to be good.
I'm looking forward.
looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward.
We'll
to it.
see.
Or just give us another Bioshock, full stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it has to be underwater, none of this infinite crap. City in the skies crap. But that's my number 4. I'm sure it might pop up again in a minute. So let's go to the number 3s.
Number 3.
Back to Chris, Mr. Heisenbyrne, your number 3, sir.
Oh, yeah, so number 3. We just had steampunk.
Yeah.
So now we're going
Full punk.
full cyberpunk. And this was a game, I believe, which was nearer the end of its lifespan, sort of thing. And it's called Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Nice.
Good.
So this game is one game that I played on both.
Yeah.
Like, had it, but just my mate had it a month before I could get it. But it was still like...
But you like it enough to put it on the list.
So, yeah, because I played it on both because there was enough for me to do in this game that whatever I did on that one, I could go full opposite, play on my one and do the both. But this one, it's set in the far future of, I think it was 2027.
Yes.
It was basically Cyberpunk before Cyberpunk. Sorry.
Yeah, it was. It had that real sort of like dark undertone, like industrial
Yeah.
sort of like, shit's not sort of right.
Yeah.
And it's set in a world where you got the humans and like everything, but then you've got like the what they called the augmentators or augmentations.
I've never played Deus
Oh,
Ex,
have you
so
not?
no.
So basically, to set it, like basically it's RoboCop.
Yep.
So you're basically a security guard, a biotech company, ends up coming in. The terrorists are trying to steal their tech. He ends up dying, near enough dying.
And he gets
They full RoboCop him with full augmentation. So basically, throughout the game, you can upgrade your eyesight to being X-ray vision, and you'll have thermal and everything. And then you'd have like, I think there was superhero landing. So if you jump off, you sort of lowers you down. You had hacking capabilities. You had going invisible. It was just like all of these special like bits that you just made them full cyborg. And it's all of these upgrades you could do.
And then you have to choose what you put it in.
Yeah,
right?
and you kind of choose which way you want to do, and you branch up. So you can either go full stealth, which was just me sort of thing, stealth hacking, and that was my thing, depending on which way you wanted to go. And there was always like 5 ways into a building. You could shoot your way in, you could hack a vent, or you could hack a door. You could
Be like Hitman.
yeah, I believe there was other augmentations. You could hack into them and sort of like take over them.
Yeah.
And it just had so many layers of a game here. The only thing I found the voice talking was a bit wooden, or wasn't
Okay.
it wasn't great, but they put everything else into how the game looked, how it played, how the choices in story, because it had a bit of choice negotiation.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much Telltale, but it did make a difference. Now I can't remember if it's a case of was it a case of that you change your tune and or are you always after the terrorists, or are you the people that you're working for? I can't remember if there was a little switcheroo in what it was, but all I know is like how much I played the game. It was one of these games, where you're looking in the review books.
Yeah.
Every few weeks, you're like, oh, there's a little bit on Deus Ex. And there's a snippet, or and it was one of these games that we just waited and counted down for so long to get. And when it came, it just delivered for me. It had stealth, because it went full shooter, like the way you were first shooter.
Yeah.
But stealth, wasn't it? And it's like,
I have probably played like the beginning missions, and I went up to the first sort of mission, and I kind of stopped because something else came out.
yeah, no, it
was good.
Stealth is stealth and stealth killing in a way of that people not knowing I'm there. I don't like stealth where it's just constant.
Yeah.
And it's a bit. I think Dishonored did it a bit. Like the stealth didn't mean.
Dishonored's so good.
Yeah, but the stealth wasn't as stealthy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I like
Proper stealth.
stealth. They find the body. You've got to kind of sort of move it, and you got to like. So when you've got that sort of thing, for me, it's you've layered the breadcrumbs of success for me of what I like in a game.
And have you stuck with the franchise since?
I wanted to play the next one. I never, because I had from 3. I never had the X or the PS4. So
right, okay.
there was a gap of games, and I went to look at it, and it never really carried on, because I was like, oh, is it on the 5? Have they carried it on? And it's not. I haven't seen it come, but I just remember it being so cool, and it was so different. But normally you get a game like that, or the gameplay is not as good, or the graphics are shoddy. This was like, I believe, a top of range game. I just didn't think it was hyped enough, because the reason I liked it was my mate DJ played Deus. Was it the original one?
Yeah.
And he was hyping about, it's a new one for a long time. Finally. And then,
Then you finally got to see what the hype was about.
Yeah, and it just ticked every sort of box I wanted to do, and then it ended up being stealthed it to death. And then on the PlayStation, I just went full assault. You got infinite strength, you got like weapons, and just you build up, and it just just allow me
God
to play.
mode.
Yeah, God mode. I don't enjoy that as much for the game because it just feels like I'm just too OP. You know, like
Yeah.
I like to be stealthy. I like them to not know until I've gone and like, oh fuck, we've been fucked up.
Nice. Anything else in Deus Ex?
No, I mean, I don't think it'll probably hold up now to the point of.
I think it's held up quite well, to be honest.
Has it? Yeah.
It
No,
was definitely on the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, the last
Is it?
one.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, if you can. It's
I
a
don't
game.
know how it's the right. Is it Ubisoft?
No, Square Enix.
Square
Yeah,
Enix.
Square
It
Enix.
holds up better than Bioshock, I think.
Does it?
Yeah, I feel like because
Sacrilege.
I've seen, as in graphics wise, because I've.
But that's what I mean by it being near the end of.
Yeah,
you got the full power of the Xbox 360 of what it could do.
everything out of it.
Yeah, it did squeeze everything out of it, and I think that's where they just kind of we don't need to cut. It was very a bit like like Mass Effect, like the way
Especially the first one.
yeah you didn't need it to be that bit perfect because the rest of the game covered that. You know. And,
On that note,
yeah.
Shame I didn't complete that game. You know, I did get into it, but I think something else came out.
Yeah, no, it's just one of those games that
Pokemon
by
Green.
the end of it, you're
Probably.
you're just so you're basically like an Avenger. You know, like the Winter, not the Winter Soldier, like Falcon. You know, the amount of stuff that you've got on you,
You
it's
just bolted on,
yeah. It's just at an age where, just loved it.
Nice, mate. Over to biggest gist then for your number 3.
My number 3 is Oblivion.
Oh, okay.
The game that broke 4 of my consoles.
I never played Oblivion.
Have you not?
No.
So
Elder Scrolls, right?
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls Oblivion. I think, and then Skyrim was after, right?
Yeah, Skyrim was the one that I
Yeah.
played because that, yet again, that filled kind of a gap after Fable sort of thing. Wasn't the same.
Yeah, no, it's not
it
the
wasn't
same,
as
no.
cartoon and funny. It was more.
See, this one
serious.
was weird. I think you had the same issue as well. I remember talking to you about. I've never played. Would you say it's RPG?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I've never played a first-person RPG. Like when I was first playing it, I was like, "This is weird." Like I'm swinging a sword. Like, I'm my background on RPGs are JRPG, Final Fantasy, my turn, your
top
turn.
down or one person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
My turn, not your turn.
So I'm coming back from coming from that sort of RPG. So this was like really weird, and I've always heard of Elder Scrolls and stuff. And but once you get into it, and I think you start you get imprisoned in the cell.
I don't remember.
I remember
honestly.
speaking to you, you're like, what the hell is this, man? Like, I can't even do anything. But it just opens up and like little things, like you can like pickpocket people or kill someone and then steal stuff from there. And then it's just like a huge open world to explore. And I sank so many hours into it. But again, it's been so long. Like I can't tell you that exactly the gist of the story and stuff, but I've definitely completed it. And there's a point where you open like these sort of gates to enter into the other sort of realm, and like it just got insane, really hard at the end. But yeah, really, really fun game.
That it?
I
thought for the games guy, I thought you were going to go more into it.
It's like I said, it was something I played.
In all fairness, that was one of the launch titles for it, I do believe. So it is a very old
early
game.
and
It was that
I had to
or-
put it in there because I know I'll put the hours in.
Yeah.
But I can't.
Exactly. You got to have it in there.
Yeah,
mate.
it was that or and Centurion, I think was the other one, wasn't it? Or Roman. There was one where you were like a Roman guard.
That's the Xbox One
Was that the
launch.
Xbox
Yeah,
One?
Rise.
Rise.
Rise
Yeah, I
on
played
Rome.
Rise.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rise
that was
on Rome.
wicked.
That's a good game.
I watched my mate play that for about 3 years, and then obviously Skyrim came out,
Exactly.
and he
So,
never,
like, Oblivion.
he never did a mission. And I said, "Are you going to play the game?" He went, "No, not yet." Never.
Sounds like John.
Never did the.
This sounds
all I can remember for that game is just the whole thing
Yeah,
where it's
yeah.
just maging his way through the whole.
Oh my God.
What did he do then?
He just went around doing like all the guilds, everything but the actual
Join
the actual
different
story.
faction. Yeah.
And I was like, "We're free. Surely you got no, not I'm being a thief guild now, or
Yeah.
you know,
I think
it's
Because each faction had their own stories. And
yeah,
you
just
got to do
everything but the game. There was so much for him to do that just.
Did he get the dragon mare?
Oh, I don't know.
the
It was
horse.
it was one of those games like when I said like too far RPG, and it's kind of like not for me.
Yeah, it loses it.
It loses it, but like, but everybody loves them. You know, like.
Yeah, I remember my brother
Partner loves
saying
him.
like he come home one night and he was going, I'm just going to a music festival. It's like, there's no music festivals happening. Oh no, it's in my game. I was like, what the fuck? Where are you going to? And why is it going to take you 3 hours to get there when you've done it? Just
It's like a second life on your Xbox.
I do
Yeah,
feel like
isn't
I'm
it?
missing something, like because it's like I wanna, because everybody loves it, and it's
Once
kind of
you-
like
You want to see what the fuss is about, right?
why don't I like it?
Yeah.
like
This was like Dragon Age for me. Dragon Age, was like, it was like, oh, you got to play it. You got to play it. It's amazing. It's amazing. I played it. And like the opening sequence took like 20 minutes to get into.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you know what? I'm out. Like,
I'm done. I'm
I've not
checked out.
I've not touched a button.
I'm
I've
spent.
watched, it's not even an interesting film that I've just watched. Do you know what? I'll go and play something else.
So you wouldn't like Metal Gear then?
Metal Gear, what,
so
Series 4?
Metal Gear I played,
Oh, okay.
and Metal Gear was slightly different because the Metal Gear had like a comic booky and anime
okay.
sort of style to
Honestly,
the
Series
animations, but-
4 though of Metal Gear was just it was too long. It's
Yeah.
like, honestly, it was just
Sacrilege.
No, the game was
But
great.
it's got a 90-minute ending for crying out
It's a
loud.
90-minute video.
Jesus.
I watch
and
every time I play
There's
through it, I
about
watch
4
every
hours
single-
of a bitch cooking eggs.
That's Gal's mum.
Honestly, I wish my mate just went skip the eggs, and I never skipped the eggs.
They look so nice though, right?
Oh, it was so boring. But the game was great. Like he was. Oh yeah, it's like too much.
His
meant to be about
his
Oblivion.
mate sounds like John when he plays an Assassin's Creed
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Did he even tell you when he played Assassin's
Oh, you
Creed?
know Marcel,
on,
don't you?
Huh?
You know Marcel?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
was him.
yeah. It's, yeah.
Oh. When John went, he explored all of Egypt in half an hour.
Yeah.
I'm just exploring.
Just exploring.
I do have a did you know?
Oh,
And now he tells me, yep.
The voice, there's 2 voice actors, Sean Bean in it and Patrick Stewart.
Does he say busted?
No,
does he backstab?
I think he does.
We'll be Sean Bean about the backstab, right?
Nope.
Nice. Nothing else?
No, that's it.
Over to Mario's number 3 then.
I'm going to throw a hissy fit because Chris took my number 3. It
Oh.
was Arkham Asylum.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man.
Anything you want to add to it?
No, I think we talked about it already. Like all of it was kind of a different type of game, superhero wise, and others have taken it on. Like Spider-Man. I mean, Spider-Man has the swing mechanic, which is the only real difference, but it still has that stealth aspect, the fighting mechanic where you push all the buttons in a certain sequence and you can chain attacks together.
You can counter as well,
You
right?
can counter as well, yeah. And it was the same if you use the PlayStation controller in the same way as the Xbox One. It's B, the red button, is your counter on. So it kind of styles a whole thing. I just think the fact it was written and they allowed Paul Dini, who had created like characters like Harley Quinn and had written most of the Batman animated series TV show, and was all kind of written by him, and that creation of Harley Quinn, the Joker, their dynamic.
That's why it works so well.
He created that universe and he wrote the game. So with that in mind, he's written a comic book into a computer game, and I think the game itself lends itself so much to that. And the stories in between, like say all the characters, Killer Croc, Poison Ivy, fuck's sake, you go into the Arboretum.
That was a
you go
great
in,
boss.
and when the flower comes down and just releases her and opens up, and you just see her just stood there, and you're like,
Spit.
she looks naked. She's not naked. She's wearing a plant.
She's naked.
She's like all of them
Half
in
naked.
it. Yeah, but even on the graphics at that time on the Xbox, yes, they're a little bit pixelated and the hair isn't quite right and stuff like that. It's still
looks
stunning.
cool.
You weren't
Like-
looking at the hair, though, mate.
no,
Come on.
but Harley Quinn. How many Harley Quinn cosplays were born from Harley Quinn from that game?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
true.
Like the leather outfit with the puffy sleeves and the big hammer, and the Joker being like Mark Hamill yet again doing the voice and being maniacal and just so. I think there's a video on YouTube of him voicing for the game. And you see him hunch himself over and almost turn into the Joker in front of you, bar the face makeup. He's just there doing all the noises and the sounds,
Nice.
and the laughs and stuff. It's so good. And Kevin Conroy, like he is Batman. Every time I read a comic book, anything, it's his voice that I hear in my head, narrating the Batman bits, and
that's what makes the game.
Yeah,
the license of the voice, just having that familiarity for like what we're used to. It just like
it just adds that to the game. It just put the cherry on top of that one. But yeah, such a great game.
I've got a question for you.
Yes.
What's better, Spider-Man or Arkham Asylum?
I think Arkham Asylum, and the reason I think Arkham Asylum is because Batman could do Spider-Man in the fight.
Of course,
Come
he's
at
got
me.
money. I just wanted to know that.
That's right.
Curious.
That's right. Spider-Man's got a sugar daddy.
I just wanted to know. I'm
Iron
not
Man.
arguing.
Yeah.
But no, but I think like the two games are two different things. Spider-Man had come before. Like we'd had a Spider-Man on the Xbox.
It was shocking though, wasn't it?
So well.
But you're referring to the PS4 one.
PS4
Yeah,
one.
PS4 one,
Yeah.
yeah. So I really like that game. I think the story in it's great. I think the mechanic in it's great. I think it's, but you can't put the two on the same level because Spider-Man had come before and it had the swing mechanic and all that sort of jazz in it. But this set up the actual linking of, fights, battles, counters. It gave you that fight mechanic.
Yeah.
And without that, I don't think you get that fight mechanic
No.
in Spider-Man. So to say that Spider-Man would be better, it has aspects where it's better. But as a whole round game, Batman's better.
Me personally, I prefer Spider-Man story. I love the Batman, but there's something that Spider-Man does is
Because you cried at the end.
No, it's
But
just
I really want to play Spider-Man due to how much I loved Arkham. So I
Yeah.
think that laid the foundation for all future superhero games for me. They could be good.
I
It gave me a chance. Like, let's give them a go again. So
If you take those two characters as well, they lend themselves to this style, really, this story as well, and this story really well. You couldn't do it as Superman. Like the guy flies for fuck's sake.
No.
You
Yeah.
just
I
go
don't
there,
think they can.
just go
They
and beat
can-
him up, and then I'm going back to where I was in my little cave in the North Pole and chill out.
Unless they do this thing where like he's got kryptonite in him and he's weak and he slowly gets stronger.
or he
Something
actually
like
has
that.
a
Otherwise-
brainiac
yeah.
against him or something. But I don't think you can
don't.
bring Spider-Man into, Superman into that.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any other superheroes. Flash potential, but even then,
I don't think he should ever be a
open
game because
world,
he's so powerful. You
Yeah.
don't feel like he should ever die just by getting punched by a foot guy.
But both Batman and Spider-Man have that whole thing where they have flawed kind of
Exactly,
systems.
yeah.
Spider-Man's flawed because he doubts himself, and Batman's flawed because technically he's schizophrenic.
Yeah.
And he's trying to fight something that isn't really there, dealing with his loss. They're both dealing with loss of, a parent figure. But yeah, Arkham Asylum, number 3.
You going on about the Flash stage? Did you see the recent review for Suicide Squad,
Yeah.
which is done by Rocksteady?
Yeah.
IGN slammed it because apparently the Flash moves too fast.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah. It
IGN.
You can't.
IGN,
you
give
can't
up.
write this up. You can't make this up.
I've heard good things about the Guardians game.
Guardians.
Guardians
Good.
Galaxy game's brilliant by
I
Square
haven't
Enix.
played
Is so good.
Yeah,
Honestly.
so that, I
Recommend
think
that
I'm gonna
100%.
give that one a whirl.
Yeah, you have to,
Yeah,
dude.
just
Honestly, if you get a
Leave
chance.
Suicide Squad.
Huh?
Don't touch Suicide
I'm not gonna
Squad.
touch that, but I'll touch.
Yeah, give Guardians a go.
Is Suicide Squad like in the vein of Gotham Knights then?
Yeah, but I think it's online only.
Oh,
All
fuck
that, all that polaris, like an
Fuck
online only
that.
shooter.
I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out.
Um,
You lost me.
Yeah.
It's like a looter
nothing else on
shooter,
Arkham,
looter
no?
shooter.
Nothing else on Arkham.
Okay, my number 3 was kind of taken by Mario, but it's the different installment of it. So my number 3 is Halo Anniversary Edition.
Yes.
The first one.
Yep.
So it got remastered and remade in 2011, I believe, for Xbox 360.
It did.
The reason I picked this is because it was fully remastered, and it was one of those ones where you can have both at any time you wanted
Yeah, you
to.
can switch between the two.
There you go.
Yeah.
You simply press the select button,
And it would
And it-
flip to the old graphics.
and it
then
flipped
you
to
hit
the old
again,
graphics
and it came back
anytime.
to the new improved ones. I
Yep.
do remember this. Yes.
and it was fantastic. It was a really well made remaster, and also at the time, back then, 2011, 3D TVs were a massive
Yeah.
thing at the time. Now, not many people know this, but the 360 was compatible to play 3D games or games in 3D. And I, funnily enough, had one at the time and played Halo, Anniversary Edition in 3D. And there's nothing more chilling than the flood coming at you in 3D. Honestly, it is.
That goddamn level.
Yeah, that shit your pants moment where you're just shotgunning all these little flood
Hoping for the
characters,
best.
And you're running for
hoping for the
ammos.
best.
You're
Yeah.
on ammos. Oh.
Then you got the big hunters with the
Yeah.
shields trying to shoot you and everything. I wanted to put 3 in there, but I think, like I said, I was just so overwhelmed by this is what I love about remasters, because not many do it like this.
Yeah.
The comparison between the two, because we get remasters every day now. Last of Us, Horizon.
The fact that you could actually go back
and just see what the difference was, and you can go, wow, how far have we come from this to this polygon?
one
to this
generation,
now?
and this is what it is.
And and you'll see Halo is made for like when it has the big opening, when you drive the Warthog and it's got all these beautiful landscapes,
All
these
the
mountains,
vistas,
the
yeah, it's
waterfalls,
amazing.
and this this remaster just, oh my god, it shines so well, and how much the 360 actually managed to power this game up and do this. And then again, like I said, you hit click and then it's like, oh, how did we ever go through that at one point?
Yeah, why did I enjoy
But that
this
was
again?
state of the art as well.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
you don't realise.
Yeah, low res was good res. Yeah.
Yeah, but also, like, I'm not going to lie, but 4-player split screen in 3D, it was absolutely awesome. I'm not going to lie. But it did, like, frame rate sort of dipped, because you can tell it's like, it wasn't like, we can play it
all
single
four you
player.
on screen at once and watching it go,
It's like, oh, I'm trying to shoot with needle, but it's going,
yeah.
But, was going to be Halo 3, but very last minute, changed it to Anniversary purely for that. Fantastic game. And that's all I can really say on it. It was a bit like Gal on that one. Very short but sweet, but it's Halo. It's the it's the mascot of Xbox. Everyone knows what Halo is.
It's the godfather of first-person shooters.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't think if Halo had existed that Microsoft would have done it as well with the Xbox.
No way. No way.
Apart from one more game, which I won't mention.
We're going to at the number 2s.
Number 2.
So over to Chris Heisenbyrne for your number 2.
Oh, number 2. So this one brought me with faith back into the actual franchise, because it had died a long time before this, but it's still one of my all-time favourite franchises. And it is it was the new Tomb Raider.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the one, it was classed as the Origins. So it's the first one that had been remade. It crash lands on the...
By Square Enix,
Yeah,
right?
Square Enix.
Right, okay,
in
yeah.
2013. It is the first
What
time...
a comeback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was on the original 360?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
this one, what they'd done is... Or what's it? Tomb Raider had sort of died. It had so many bad sort of
The
games.
sequels aren't as good, were they?
And then obviously Uncharted come out and just blew everything away. And what they did was they kind of took everything that I sort of liked from Uncharted and then...
Copy and paste.
Yeah, copy and paste with the Lara
Copy and paste.
and like the Tomb Raider franchise. And what it allowed me to do, it was the first time that you could do sort of like the Assassin's Creed and the Uncharted sort of free running. Jump. It had
Plus hiding the bushes and everything and whatnot.
yeah, crafting.
Yeah.
I love that bit.
The skinning of the animals, hunting them down, making your
You never
bags.
get the dual.
The dual.
Do you
Double
get it at
guns.
the end? I don't think the first
No,
one.
No.
you do.
I don't think you
Dude,
get them till 3.
Yeah.
No,
I think you get them till Shadow.
This was the reason I loved this game so much was you had all of these weapons, but I spent the entire game
With bow and
killing
arrow.
everybody. No, with the grappling hook. The
little pickaxe.
Yeah.
Right? Now this, my mate had already completed it, and he was like, "Are you just going to use that the entire way?" And I went, "Unless I have to." Like literally stealth kill him with that, and then the very last boss goes, "Ha ha! I'm taking all your shit. I'm leaving
Yes,
you
yeah.
is the fucking pickaxe." And I went, "You are fucked," and I literally just fucked him up. And it was one of the greatest sort of stories that I had, because it had.
It's a great comeback as well.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is absolutely great
And,
comeback.
and it's not a redo of the original game either.
No, it's a full
complete
origin
yeah,
of her
yeah.
first ever. Her dad's literally sort of died, sort of
Yeah.
thing, and she's unsure what she wants to do.
So
And she-
basically finding herself.
Yeah, she doesn't have anything. She she picks up she starts getting her like her leg braces and
yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
and you're like, oh yeah, just like little nods, and you're like,
We got turned on a little bit
oh
then.
yeah,
Just need the shorts.
just the shorts. But what it did was like, she is back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the game had what I classed as like a fake open world. Like
Yeah.
it made you believe.
But it made
Which I
you
think
go.
it worked.
believe that you.
It was
you were
slightly
free.
more realistic to the other ones, wasn't it?
But it was
'Cause
leading
It
you.
didn't need the open world. I don't think. I think it worked so well
yeah,
like that.
but it gave you the idea.
It
of
gave
an
you
open
the
world,
idea
yeah.
that you were more. You wasn't in a cave.
You had freedom.
Yeah, but you didn't have freedom
Yeah.
because it was like you didn't have the grappling hook to get there, or
Yeah.
you didn't have
you had to
something
come
get
back
in.
and do
Yeah.
it, didn't
But
you?
it gave you it made you feel like it was more of a you wasn't loading up in a level in a
Yeah.
cave, or you've loaded up in China.
Was this the first one with tombs as well? Did it have tombs?
Like
as
the tomb,
side-
yes.
Yeah.
So
side
this
But
was
there were
the fir-
puzzles, the
This was
tombs.
like
Yeah.
there was like I think it was
or
there
shrines
was like
or
a
something?
sound of there was like an eerie
don't
sound.
know.
Like,
That's it, and you
But-
knew you was
you
in
were
a
like,
tomb.
right,
Yeah.
then you had to kind of find it, and you was like either behind a waterfall,
That's it.
and
yeah.
then it would be a little puzzle,
Yep.
and that would be the tomb raiding. There'd be no
Yeah.
the tomb raiding wasn't actually part of the
game. It was
that
a side element
and I
to it, yeah.
I liked that because it just allowed and. I had to get that, and this was
Yeah.
like one of the games that I do like to pretty much try and
100%.
And there weren't a lot on
the
the first one. There's only a handful, I think. 5 or
yeah,
6.
there was 5 or 6, but you kind of
Yeah,
wanted to
Yeah,
And
you
you
can
had to
find
find
them.
you had to find other bits as well, didn't you? Just find like relics and
Yeah,
stuff like
relics
that.
and like the little jade
Scrolls as well.
I remember
yeah.
the puzzles weren't too overcomplicated.
No.
Because that stuff like that used to put me off.
Yeah.
Even the originals just really aggravated me.
That's what-
But they weren't too bad in
No,
these ones.
it's basically that's a copy and paste Uncharted because they do this color coding. It tells you kind of like, oh, you can climb that.
Yes, yeah.
If it's
something
your
looser.
game, you can. It's not camoed. You
Yeah.
can instant. But if you were new, you'd be like, where the fuck?
Yeah.
Like you can see
Yeah.
the grappling.
Exactly. But they always leave the tools. Like you'd always enter a room. It'd be like, "There's fire here. I wonder why I'm gonna need fire." And there's more arrows there. And then you look up and you see something. Oh, so if I fire the arrow through the fire,
That's it.
and it's gonna burn away. Oh, there's the ladder. Found the ladder.
No, but the amount of times I sit there and go like this, or like
Yeah.
in the new one, my partner was like, "Just Google." I'm fucking not googling it.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
I
no,
will get
I want to
this,
figure this
yeah.
out for myself.
Yeah,
I'm the original Tomb
yeah,
Raider.
but you know, like,
What
if you
would
ever
Lara do?
Or even just if she goes, you go, shut up!
No,
you,
no,
you,
the Christian Black.
You kind of
What would-
feel like you kind of
She'd
feel
be
a
like,
bit cheated.
what's that up there?
You kind of feel a bit cheated, but you're like,
Oh, I knew you had to do
What
that.
would-
You fucking didn't.
Yeah.
what would Nathan Drake do?
oh yeah. But that was Nathan Drake. But I don't love Nathan
Different.
Drake without loving
Yeah,
Tomb
yeah.
Raider.
You can't have Drake without Tomb
Yeah,
Raider.
and
You
I
can't
don't-
have Indie without
and I
Nathan
don't
Drake.
want to.
Don't
I don't
start
want to play
that.
this Tomb Raider without playing Uncharted. Because why don't you just play Uncharted? Why can't I play both?
Yeah.
It's like it gave me everything that I wanted from Uncharted, but gave me the Tomb Raider skin, and
That's
it just
it. I
It
want to
just-
play that now.
it just gave me like.
I kind of do now, to be
Yeah.
honest, but I like Rise. I like the second one more.
Yeah, no, Rise is brilliant,
Yeah,
but
Rise
this
of the
one,
Tomb
But this one was yes, yeah, yeah.
And this was
What's the
this
third
was
one?
Shadow.
Shadow of the Tomb
this
Raider.
was one of the games. This came out after was it Deus Ex, and this
Yeah.
is the one that I would have bought, but where I played. Because I didn't like playing
was
Deus
very late
Yeah,
into
I
the
didn't like playing
360
Deus
life,
Ex
yeah.
at my house because I felt like I played it to death.
Yeah.
So I never actually bought this one at mine. So this one was 100% full play,
Yeah.
full export. But I would own it on my console 100%. No questions asked. It was literally there was 10 years of like all of these crap Tomb Raiders coming out
Yeah.
of like, and they were just
Blocky,
destroying
they were
everything that they were
awful.
like.
They had a Prince of
All of
Persia
that-
kind of mechanic to them, which
Yeah.
you
'Cause
climbed
Because she
up.
was the pinnacle
Yeah.
of play. She held up
He was
PlayStation,
an icon for PlayStation.
and then it just came
That's
crumbling
disappointing.
down, and then obviously, yeah, and then she.
And the Drake.
Yeah,
took
no
over.
one heard from her for a while, and then when you found out there was the remake, you're like, but then you saw it and you're like, this is actually kick-ass.
It literally done everything. It just kind of gave you, okay, we're just going to take the name
Yeah.
and give you a brand, a bit like basically Far Cry. You just boom,
Yeah, yeah.
there you go,
Yeah.
on an island.
Yeah.
Your tomb is the island. Kind
Yeah.
of get off, and yeah, I just had so much fun playing it, and it just obviously Rise come out, and then and it just and I'm now.
I'm still waiting for them to release the Angelina Jolie skin.
But
That'd be so
whenever
good.
They do whenever they like the new one,
Best Lara Croft
new
ever.
one comes out for like PlayStation.
Have you
5.
seen they've released, they remastered all the old ones
Yeah.
now as well? They're releasing
But
them.
You can get them as a
I-
trilogy
yeah.
now as a
Yeah.
package.
I've been reading about it because I thought, but it's shocking apparently.
Oh, is it really?
Like they haven't got rid of that. They say it's probably one of the worst remasters.
Worse than GTA.
wow.
Yeah, like
It can't
like,
be worse than GTA.
I don't know what that one, but like, they just said like for something, it should be kind of like everything that was wrong with.
It should have been fixed, and
They haven't fixed it. It's like, you know, when you're trying to swim.
What if the new cheat's still in that?
The amount of times I drowned trying to get up from the water because you can't work your way which one you're facing up. Yeah. No, but this one just she's back, and I loved it.
Nice, mate. Anything else on it?
No, give it a go if you can find it.
Nice. Over to Biggest G, number 2.
My number 2 has already been taken.
I wonder if it's
Mario. How dare you?
How dare you?
I can't believe it was Fable.
No, it's actually Bioshock.
Oh, okay.
I didn't go too much into it because I knew you would go heavily in it. So
I go through phases. Like I die out on first-person shooters. Quite recently, it was I died out and I played Doom, the not internal one before, and I just went on a craze on first-person shooters. I started playing Wolfenstein, just went through it, and this is one where, like, again, like I said earlier, like I kind of fell out with I adored Halo, appreciate what it does, but I just zoned out with first-person shooter, and when this came out, I was just like, damn, this is me, and it's what it does is when the first, like I said, that's what I was trying to explain to him in the beginning. Like I feel like the first scene sets it up for me, like the way like you go down and you got the music like you talked about, and then it's underwater. You're like, it's almost like claustrophobic. There's no way you can't.
Absolutely,
you can't. You know, and you're surrounded by these creepy people.
It's weird because sometimes you're in a grand hall and it's big, but you still feel
you can see
you can see the water outside. You still feel like secluded in a way, don't you?
It just like for me sometimes it like gameplay is a must. The gameplay is solid. You know about the plasmids, you know, but it's about the setting. And this setting is just super me, and that's why I didn't like number 3 as much. Like it just felt like I didn't.
It lost the appeal because it wasn't underwater.
And
But could you imagine BioShock without the era it's meant to be done in?
Yeah,
it wouldn't work. Would not work.
The soundtrack has to be spot on. If it was anything else, it wouldn't work. Even to the characters, you know, like a little drawing of when the character speaks. It looks like actual old-fashioned 80s,
yes,
19. Little attention to details, all those things that just bring it alive. And one thing that you didn't touch upon as well, the little girls that you save,
little angels,
and you can choose to save them or you can choose to harvest them.
So you kill them. Yeah,
you literally just snap. Like
you don't see it though,
but it looks like, and I'm like, nah, man, I'm not.
No, she's like, no. Then it fades to black.
Yeah.
And he pulls out like a leech that's inside this girl that makes her like her ears, and he uses it for his the plasmids or whatever it is. It wasn't it or something like that.
It's just creepy as fuck, and like it's hard as well. Like some of the enemies are like, do you remember the little robot one that spins around? That's almost. Do you remember?
Vaguely.
Yeah, there's this stuff that you got to unlock, and you run into certain sort of enemies that kind of I struggled with it, but again, I think you've covered most of it. But
look, Mr. Bubbles, it's an angel.
God, so good.
Yeah, it's all about, like I said, all the little touches, like we said about the vending machines. Yeah. Wasn't there like a hacking system in that as well?
Yeah.
Yes. Like a little mini game.
That's it. The little flying things. They come around, or something. It makes some weird noise.
They're on little propellers, aren't they? Well, no, yeah. They're like mini turrets that fly.
Yeah, and I feel like this is groundbreaking. I think it like just like Halo did, and I think this was needed. I know a lot of I know there's a recent game that come out, Atomic Heart, tried to imitate it a little bit, but
it was.
People were saying
it had the appeal, but never really touched on.
But I think it's like when you think of first-person shooters, obviously, like you think of Doom, Halo. I think this is up there in the conversation. It has to be 100%.
I mean, have you seen like the new recent images of the Unreal 6 engine at the moment, or Unreal 5 engine, whatever?
Can you imagine that on this?
Could you? My goodness.
But again, like the reason why I said like it's out, it kind of looks outdated if you look at it now. But at the time, it was just insane. Like it was 100% certified banger.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when we said with the lighthouse at the beginning, when you swim up and you can see even the moon reflecting on the water. It's just
it was always like when you had in the magazines like top 100, it was always like the top, like in the top 5, no matter what, whatever list. Bioshock was you had the 2, the 3, like which you could never get the top of it, but it was pretty much.
And for some reason, I as well, like, it's like what you said, like, I wanted it to come to the PlayStation. You know, me and you are like, PlayStation, isn't it? And I was like, oh man, I wish PlayStation got this. You know? Like,
you got your wish, didn't you?
Just like everything else would come to PlayStation.
Do you remember, the trailers for this? This has got to be one of my favorite video games, and it always had somewhere beyond the sea. Always had that in there, and then it would go. That was like, so obviously you see Rapturous uplifting, it's got the beyond under the sea, and then next minute you
changes,
see,
doesn't it? The music changes, goes
rapidly
really dark
changes and it goes dark, and then you see Big Daddy's killing people
very-
and stuff.
Kind of draws you in fakely. doesn't it?
Yes.
It was like, oh, this is
Just like the game does at the
fun.
beginning.
It's fun.
Looks happy, but this place is dark and there's secrets.
Brutal, man. Some nasty things in there.
But yeah.
That's
And that's it.
yeah.
Nice pick. Mario, number 2.
My number 2 has one of the greatest men to wear a vest and a bandana, and it's Gears of War 2.
Nice.
Marcus
No, I'm going to jump in
Fenix.
with you because it's my number 2 as well.
Ah,
so
sweet.
yeah, go for it.
It's such a great game. So I remember playing the first one. The first one changed like my view of shooters, full stop, because I've been playing first-person shooters, and this wasn't a first-person shooter. It was an over-the-shoulder-ish third-person view. So you get the entire character in the view. The guns are fucking amazing.
The Lancer itself, best
is just,
gun ever.
Do you remember the announcement? I'm sure it's for this game, was the announcement where, what's his name? I forget the creator's name now. Biffy.
Cliff Blazinski.
Yes, Cliffy B comes on stage and he has one on stage with him.
yes.
He has the Lancer on stage with him, full size, actual size.
Whose idea was that? Chainsaw on a gun.
I think it's just one of those things. You sit in a room and goes, what would make a gun more deadly? Chainsaw.
On a gun.
Oh fuck yeah, that's genius. Why not? And it's just a great weapon. Like, but it was the fact that you had like the finishing moves for every shot.
Yeah.
Like you getting close. Oh shit! I've run out of bullets, or I can't
Rev that chainsaw,
I can't
mate.
reload in time.
Yep.
And you just split them in half. And
What's
it just,
if you get the little thing in?
So it's the active reload.
yeah, an
That's
active
so
reload.
cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
It was
it's
such-
hard every
and-
time I
and
get
it
that,
was
man.
So much.
Damn. Sorry.
But it was so good because, like Halo, like you said earlier, like you had
Halo
the,
changed it to that.
you had
didn't
the reload, which was press X, but this was the first time where you had to get it between the two lines. You like it was almost like when you were playing PGA golf or some shit like that. I've got to get it in between those two green points. This was like you had to get it just right, and then you reload, and off you go.
It was an instant reload if you got it in, didn't you? Yeah.
Doesn't he say something?
He's like,
nice.
"Fuck yeah, nice," or whatever.
And it's just and the weapons in it, like I say, there were guns. The enemies you were facing as well, the horde, like, they were
Different.
so fucking good.
Different.
And you had those giant fucking spider things.
Corpses.
That came, corpses.
Yes.
So good. And then you had they were like flying shrieky things that were coming on.
The little spider thing.
The
queen comes on.
It's the whole game
So
itself.
different, so cool.
Reavers.
Reavers. And all of it was so good. And
then when they do come out of the ground, you've got a grenade.
yeah, grenade it and you can
Lock
see
the
all
hole
the
up.
Genius.
Yeah, and the chain grenades as well.
Yeah.
So you're swinging it and off it goes. The whole game as well. Not only the mechanics, but the game story as well was just something else. Like these things, they didn't come from another planet. No, they came from deep underground.
Yeah.
Like,
But you have to remember that it's not on Earth.
no,
it's actually on a different
It's on a
planet.
different planet. It's like, and they even call it. I can't remember what emergence day, isn't it?
Yes, that's when they rise up from the ground.
D-Day?
No,
No,
E-Day.
E-Day.
For emergence
yeah.
when they came out of the ground. And it's such a great concept, like, and the cities and the escapes you go through and the run as well. When you get into a run and he ducks down,
Cinematic run.
and,
It's a
and
cinematic
he's running
mode,
over
yeah.
your shoulder and the weapon's going and you're there. I mean, it's weird because I don't think any person can run like Marcus Fenix. Like your gun's up in the air, you're kind of 3/4 over, and you're shuffling.
That's
your
it,
feet
yeah.
are going at full pelt. It's so good.
But it was the first game to have the duck and cover system as
It
well,
did,
wasn't
where you
it?
go, and you can peer over the top, you can peer around the side,
Or just shoot over
or
it.
just
if you
shoot
couldn't-
over, yeah, or just shoot over the top. And the active reload helped with that as well.
Yeah.
And like you had a single gun, you had the Lancer, you had all of their weapons as
Do you
well.
remember the arrow one?
Yeah,
The talk bow.
talk bow's fucking brilliant.
You have to charge it.
That's it.
Yeah. But yeah, Gears of War 2, fucking amazing game.
So good.
So good. And multiplayer as well. Where you could the multiplayer was just like horde mode.
Yes, the first time you got to do horde mode.
But horde mode multiplayer as well. and you'd have, or like you say, all of these things. You could duck and cover. You could just go hell for fucking leather. You could just lance them
wave
one
after
the
wave
other.
after wave,
and just running around looking for grenades, looking for more bullets, looking for more guns, looking for.
But do
more
we leave the
everything.
safe spot to get the ammo
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff, isn't it?
Or it's like, oh, I'll do this, and then I'll bring you back to life. I'll come back and heal you in a minute.
Yeah.
Because that was nothing. You had a heal mechanic as well.
Collect the money, guys. John.
John, I'll get the money.
Sorry. It was just,
But it's the game itself is so good. The idea is so good. The extras to collect, the old cog tags.
Yes,
I
the
always-
secrets, weren't they?
Yeah, I always wanted cog tags just in general because I thought they were really cool. I mean, I also wanted a Lancer, but that was never going to happen. The whole thing and the armor as well. So like when you see Marcus in the big old kind of armor, and he's got his massive fucking guns out, and then he's got this little kind of like chest plate that's got little blue glowy bits on it.
And that's what I love when you walk in this game. You hear the armor
Yeah, the
clink
chink,
and
clink,
chink, chink, chink every
Yeah,
time you move.
Every move.
and you got someone even bigger than him, the A train.
Yeah.
It was like, what?
And
Get me the air train, baby.
it's just such a great game.
The Coltrane, sorry.
Coltrane, and he's an ex-American football player,
Right.
or he's not American football.
Sarah
but it's-
footballer.
Sarah footballer. It's such a great game. Like the whole thing, the concept, the characters. Like if I can,
And you love every single one of them.
100%. So I missed out on the third one. I think it's the third one.
Third one is
Um,
amazing.
And the
They're all
third,
good.
so I played the third one, and Sam and I were playing the third one together.
Hmm.
And she wasn't into games at all. Really isn't into games. But she played this one because she got into the story, and she got up to the bit where I can't remember the name of the character's what the character's name is, but he dies.
Dom.
That's it. Where Dom dies, and like I've come home from a shift.
Madwell kicks in, doesn't it?
I've come home from a shift, and I've walked in. But that was what they used in the advert for that one as
It
well.
did in the first one,
Yeah.
yes.
And so I come home from work and I walk in and she's on the bed and she's crying. I go, what's wrong? She goes, I can't tell you, you'll be mad. I'm like, why am I going to be mad? She goes, I played the game. So why are you upset? Dom's dead. I was like, sorry, what?
No, she didn't. Oh,
She done you twice. She went ahead and then
she played the
spoiled
game ahead of me and then she told me why she was upset. And there's only another time where
Please tell
I
me you walked out the room.
did, but like,
Were you in tears?
no, I wasn't. So it had the same effect of me that Sons of Anarchy, the end of
Yeah.
season 2 had, where they kill Opie. I was just like, no, it's not. No, it's
He's
a
alive,
dream.
he's alive.
It's a dream sequence. It's all a dream
Yeah.
sequence. I'm going to wake up. Everyone's going to be in the shower. It's going to be fine. Like, no, it wasn't. And she hadn't lied. And I've not played 3 from the point where I left it.
no.
No, so I've jumped ahead to the one. I can't remember which one we're on now. Is it 4 or 5?
Five's the recent one.
5's the one with his daughter, brings him back because you think he's dead. Or no, he's not back. He plays his daughter or someone else. Yeah. But I haven't played 3 all the way through.
Wow.
But
So you've
2
never seen the ending.
I haven't seen the ending to 3.
No.
I've seen everything.
3 has a good ending.
You need to play that.
I know I do, but like I can't get past that point because I played up to that point. I'm like, and then when I did start playing it, Sam would turn around and go, "Oh yeah," and if you look out to your left, I'm playing the game. Leave me alone. Like,
You've already ruined it.
Yeah. Just get out.
Oh man, that's.
But yeah, I never got past
If
that
she
point.
hadn't ruined it, you would have completed
I
it,
would've
right?
yeah.
Because you would have been like,
I'll get them for you, Dom. I'll get them.
because that's how we all
You'll be
were,
waiting
weren't
for it every
Yeah.
time you play it now.
Yeah. But
You could save him.
No, you can't.
You can't. But yeah, Gears of War 2.
Nice. So 2's yours. Not
2's
Gears of War
mine.
2.
No, Gears of War 2, yeah.
Yeah, just fucking love Gears
It's
of
so
War.
amazing.
It
The
is-
whole franchise is fucking
The whole
amazing.
franchise.
I'm just gonna say the reason why I'm here, like for this episode.
Gears.
Gears.
Just,
Just for Gears of War.
Let's
full
spoil
stop.
it. Anyway, but I'll go to it quickly. I'm not going to copy Mario as much, but mine was going to be 2. I'm going to stick with the first one.
Go for it.
And purely because this made me feel like a cinematic moment. Ever since I played Metal Gear 1, I've never felt like playing a movie since then.
Yeah.
And it really hit me the part when the Berserker shows up.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
like, that's when I'm playing a movie. Like you said, all the characters, all the enemies are unique. But when I got to her, I felt like I was living a movie at the time.
Yeah,
And like
that
I said,
freaked the shit out of me.
yeah.
Mm.
And you've got to understand, graphically, this is phenomenal for a 360 at the time.
The 360's like not even that powerful. Like
Yeah.
they were doing things at the time going, PlayStation's better. And yeah, it probably was. But to be honest,
They had nothing on Gears.
Yeah, just
Even now, Sony has nothing.
like, I remember
on
I could feel my Xbox like spinning so fast.
Yeah.
This so fast
You
at
could
the
hear
time.
it
It
as
was
well.
unreal.
The fans kicking in.
Absolutely. But yeah, like you said, the whole entire franchise, apart from 5, is phenomenal. And I love the story so much. Like you said, we all think it's on Earth. It's not. It's on Syria. But the backstory to it as well is brilliant. Not long after I played this game, I started writing my own script to try and make it into a movie and stuff and whatnot.
It's in the works, apparently.
I'm in love with this film. And
everyone's going to get to play Fenix.
Everyone says that Master Chief is the mascot for Xbox. Sorry. Marcus Fenix is the be-all end-all manliest man of Xbox history. He is the. Yeah.
I agree. That's well
Right?
put,
Come on.
He's not scared to show his face.
No way. And you saying how upset you got about Dom dying. When they kill off Marcus Phoenix, I'm telling you now, I'm taking
The
the
world's
week off
going to
work.
end.
The world's going to end. I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry. It's going to be like a family member dying, honestly. I will be absolutely gutted. But no, 2 was on there. I mentioned on the podcast before why 2 was so important to me because of simply Horde mode. Horde mode was what got me into Xbox Live. That was the multiplayer thing that I was hooked on for.
Because it set the level as well. Because like everyone was playing against the Horde.
Yes.
And everyone was on a team and you were working together. At this point, like, it wasn't like Call of Duty where it's like you had a team of 3 against a team of 3 or you against everyone else.
Yeah, it
This
wasn't
was
King of the Hill, wasn't
no,
Deathmatch or anything.
You all are working together to destroy everything coming at you.
Exactly. And that's what I loved about it. And then even though 2 was the one that started Horde, the best Horde mode, in my opinion, is Gears of War 3, when you can actually set up a base and then can actually start building things.
Is that the one you get the gorilla? Is that the one? What's the thing?
Yeah, that's the Silverback.
Silverbacks.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. When you can build your own base and then they have to try and get past it, whatnot.
Yeah,
and then you have a boss every wave 10 as well. It was just fantastic. We went back years ago and went back onto it and whatnot. It was just, oh my God.
Speechless right now.
But yeah, the weaponry, it's not just the Lancer. There's other guns in this that I feel like the Gorgon, the best hand pistol in gun history
Hammer
ever.
of Dawn.
The Hammer of Dawn. My God, what a weapon that is!
Laser and then you hold it there.
The deadliest weapon ever. Just obliterates anything on sight, wouldn't it? And oh my God. But yeah, it's just everything to me. I live and breathe Gears. Well, every time the new installment's out, I'm off work for 2 weeks just playing it. Seriously. They're kind of going back now and doing the prequel to Gears 1, which I'm not sure about because Gears 5 needs answering for, seriously. But I'm not too sure. I mean, I'll still play it. I'm happy with it.
Wrong direction. I mean, like, the open world isn't needed. Like,
No,
have you played Hivebusters? It's bang.
No.
It's a wicked DLC.
I don't think Gears lends itself to open world in any way or form.
No,
it doesn't
it's
need
not
to.
needed. It's
You
not
would-
needed.
you never. The only vehicles you ever got on with those giant fucking tank things that would take you from one point of the game to the other, and then you'd be fighting the Reavers as they went alongside it, and so you're getting on the old machine guns and taking them out. Like, this is a linear-based kind of shooter, but so much more. Like that hide mechanic that. Yeah, again, going back to the weapons, but also the villains as well. The little tickers when they come in.
Tickers.
Oh, fuck, you know.
Like I say, every, like in Left 4 Dead, every enemy has a distinctive thing to it.
Yep.
Like Brumaks, for example,
Yep.
like you can feel the thud when they come in. Boomers, even though they have rocket launchers, all they say is boom. They say nothing else. But every single one always check corpses when they come up from the ground and stuff like that and take Cerapedes, my God, the list is endless with
So many of these great ideas.
But you mentioned tickers when they get
and then they just
they
stop
make that little
and then
noise
tick,
and they
tick, tick,
pow. They're suicide bombers essentially, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're just crazy. But yeah, what a franchise. I hope Xbox does not destroy it and please carry on with it.
Yeah.
It's begging for a sequel. It's been 5 years since 5 now? No, maybe 6, I think.
I think it's 5. It must be.
No, 2018 5 came out, so 6 years ago. Do you know what I'm saying? It needs revamping
And
or
I
something.
remember when they released the trailer for Wood, was going nuts.
Yeah, we were both like, it's E-Day! It's Dom. It's clearly a prequel. So yeah. But you mentioned like you said like with Mad World, like you knew straight away that's from a Gears of War trailer and stuff like that.
Because the first time because the first time it ever came out, it was like this in slow motion, if I remember correctly, and it was like Marcus Fenix up on the screen. It was the part of the
looking
opening,
at the reflection.
It's part of the opening sequence, and you just hear the All around me are familiar.
Straight away, that's all
And,
you get.
and you see the explosions, then you see the battle and everything, and it's all in slow motion.
And he crashes into that room, and there's a corpse in there, isn't there?
It's dark. All you see is loads of eyes.
Yeah, so it's all corpses.
And then, like, the corpse's eyes, and then you just see the little.
Yeah, so good.
So yeah, Gears of War, bring it back, Xbox, bring it back properly.
Yes.
Let's go to the number ones.
It's number one.
Bring it home, Heisenbyrne, with your number one.
So number one was, I believe it was just a one game only. Never done it again. And it was a stop filler before a game that was coming out on the PlayStation 3 for me. And it had everything that I liked about what this game is. It was released in 2010 by Visual Games and Electronic Arts. And it is Dante's Inferno.
Ooh,
Dang.
yes! All right.
I don't think I played this.
I'm so glad you've got this in here.
Yeah. So this was like, for me, God of War, Uncharted, and Tomb Raider, they are my bread and butter. So I was waiting forever for God of War. You know, you got release date. I believe God of War was coming out in March. This hit the shops in the Feb.
Yeah.
So, and this was a game that I didn't know anything about. And my mate obviously bought it. We just played it. And it's basically about a Knights Templar who's gone on his crusades. And he gives a blood oath or a swear of an oath of allegiance to his missus. And
Even though he cheats on her.
Even though he cheats on her. So he comes back and then, Lucifer comes up.
Devil's got
Devil
her.
takes her to the 9 circles of hell.
Yep.
So you have to go down, and it's based on the poem
Dante's
Inferno, or whatever it's called. And yeah, you just look like this heavy knight crusade in your white gown, and you just look.
You've got the Red Cross
stitched
to your body.
That still creeps me out.
Yeah, you've got all of that. Oh, yeah, it's just sick. And then obviously, like the whole entrance, like because the beginning sequence is pretty brutal. And then the way she gets taken, you're like, oh, fuck, I fucked up here.
Yeah.
I think she's never going to let this one down. She's going to hold this one over me forever.
Well, if you go through the 9 to 12 to get her back, I think she would consider it.
She'll bring it up. So, so basically you go down and then you're accompanied by Virgil, which is your little character, your quest guide. And he's not.
But he's not with you.
He's not with you, so he doesn't overstay his welcome. He's not an annoying sidekick that has it. And what it does, it just becomes this full hack and slash God of War. Like you get your, I think it's like one of the greatest weapons. They're basically the blades of chaos, but they're like.
But it's not.
No, but they're just so good.
And the cross you get as well. It does poof.
Like because by doing all of the killing in hell, you accumulate. Is it the souls?
Yes.
Yeah, and which gives you your points to then upgrade all of your weapons,
all your
of
moves.
your skills, and you've got all of your. So in like God of War, where you've got all of these different moves that you can do, your combinations, and it's just great. The surrounding scenes look awesome.
They're so detailed as well.
You can see the agony in.
All the walls are just people.
It's like aliens or people, isn't it? Like in the movies where they're all like, they're all hanging. And what it does, it gives you each ring, you kind of start feeling sorry. I think there's one where, is it Purgatory?
Yeah.
And you got all the dead like babies and stuff, and like all.
And they've got blades for arms and feet and stuff.
Like,
it doesn't hold back at all.
Yeah, it's menacing. And then you got the ones which is adultery, and they're just
lust.
Lust, and like all of the enemies.
Once you're killing her, she's like, oh.
But yeah, it's just you got all of the boss, like the hack and slash all the way through, and then each ring, the end boss, you've got this quality boss battle.
Hands down, each one has the best boss battles ever in any game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the one that really it's his dad.
Is at the end.
Yeah, the big guy. And he's just killing you for, I think it's 100 years of not being tortured, wasn't it? That was his. He goes, "Oh, I'll kill you."
But like Limbo and all that, and the big creature with the 3 mouths and everything, they're just so iconic in this game. It's just...
this game was just so good. And then it just
Nothing.
nothing.
So the reason, it was done by the guys who did Dead Space. They did Dead Space, and then they did this, and then they just carried on with Dead Space and never went back to.
It just felt like there was a game IP that you could do here. Like, he is a character that I did enjoy playing, and it was like we could go wherever or do whatever. You know, it was sort of like, I don't know if they just didn't know where to go with him, because it's like you're limited to the.
You've only got the one poem at the end. It's like, how do they go further with it, sort of thing. But did you know that if you complete the game, you can actually do the game again as Isaac Clarke? And start killing everyone as Isaac Clarke from Dead Space.
With his weapons and stuff.
Don't have the weapons, you just have the suit.
Oh, sick. No, I did not know that. But then, like, you've got the full CGI, I think it's like an 1889, or like an 80-minute feature-length animation.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And it's based on the game as well, that
it's
one.
exactly the game, and it's basically the
They
same
did the
sort
same
of,
thing with Dead Space. They released an anime.
Each chapter is a different anime artist.
So
different
you've
every
got
time.
different sort of styles. You've got like a manga one, and then you've got like a shell-shaded one.
Oh,
and
wow.
But what makes me laugh about that anime is just one chapter you've got Dante skinny, beating up, next, and in the next chapter he's like Arnie, and he's like this sort of thing. But it's the different type of artists that incorporate their story, sort of thing, isn't it? So
so this game just became just like,
It's not talked about a lot.
I was waiting for God of War, and then obviously it was just so good that I just played it so much. And I think the reason it's number one for me is obviously I haven't got all of these back history with the Xbox games that are all like the Gears of War, the years of the hours that you put in for it. This one kind of like came in, hit me hard, and then
Stood out for you.
No, that's all we're giving
mate,
you. That's
if you go back to the episode where we talk about our video games we should turn into movies, this was one of my picks.
Oh yeah, because I was like, Dante's.
I'm so glad you liked it as well.
Oh, I absolutely love Dante's, and it's just one of those games that no one
talks about.
But I guarantee if you played it, you can't not love it. As long as you like that sort of game,
It's just the raw when he swipes and attacks people and everything.
And the combo, because it starts counting up like your hit combos, and you're like, right. Nothing pisses you off than a little, you bastard.
Yeah.
I just had so much fun playing it, and it was one of those games that, he's pissing me right off. You were just, you're doing it between the two controllers sort of thing, and you're just like, we played it so much, like just rinse and repeat, and then I think it was like, was it? Hard was just called like hell or
a nightmare mode or something.
It was, and it was.
It's not worth it.
No, it was hard. But it was just so much fun, and literally just came in short and sweet, and then just left me always wanting more. And I've never got the second. So it's never come out and gone, oh, the rest of it was shit. It's just that one solid game. It's fucked off and left it.
Nice.
But it's just
Sometimes that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, it is. And literally, I didn't realise how old. Like, I looked at it, I was like, oh, fuck me. It stayed vividly.
Like 12 years old or something,
vividly in my head about how much I've enjoyed this one game. No franchise to get mixed up. Oh, yeah, it's just, and obviously, when you spoke about it, I was like, yes.
Nice. But you having said that, if you ever want more, I bought a game in Essen where you get to play Dante's Inferno as a worker placement game.
Oh, shit.
And you actually have to take them through the 9 rings of hell.
way.
Oh, yes. Yep, I'm on it.
Nice.
Nice sell there.
I know, right?
There you go.
Product
Inferno
placement.
games, try it.
Truman Show.
I see you.
Anything else on Dante's Inferno?
No, give it a go if that's your sort
It's
of thing.
backwards compatible. Do it, folks. Nice. Big
Is
G.
it on the PlayStation?
No. Yes, possibly.
might
It was on the
be
PS3. But I don't know if PSN do that or not.
I think
course
Electronics Arts, so it was
It is
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, they do it then.
What's number one, sir?
My number one is quite sadly been taken. I'm really upset. I was dying to talk about it. It's Gears of War 1.
Yeah.
Number one.
Number one.
Oh,
It's
okay.
gotta be.
Number
It's-
one.
If it's not number one, this is the why. As I said earlier, this is why I'm here on this episode. Like this is the whole story.
Gears of War.
Gears of War. I mean, it's what you said. I think it's overtaken Halo as a franchise, and I think Gears is.
I think it should have
amazing.
overtaken Halo as a franchise.
I
Like
think, yeah.
the TV show they've done of Halo, I think the story was a great idea. I think they just
Disappointment.
yeah.
I thought it was pretty wank.
Yeah.
I didn't even bother seeing
But
it.
I think the story could have been better. Like the first season I watched it, I was like, it's okay. And then I went to start watching the second season. I got episode and a half in and was like, you've done nothing with any characters.
I haven't
here.
watched the series. I haven't completed the latest Halo
But I think the
game.
guy that plays
Master Chief.
Master Chief, he could do Phoenix
Really?
quite well. Yeah, I think
He does play it quite well.
Yeah, he's quite a big guy.
But he removes
anyway.
his mask. Master Chief
No,
never shows his face.
No, he doesn't. But that's not down to him. But Marcus Phoenix does show his face. Marcus
Oh, yeah,
Phoenix
of
is
course,
a
yeah.
fucked
But they're
up-
paying him the money for the face.
Yeah,
Because
true.
other than that, I'd say Ron Perlman. But like Ron Perlman as
They're a bit too old for Mark Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah, but way back when,
Yeah.
just after Beauty and the Beast, you get him in.
You always come back to me in the beast.
He is Vincent. I don't care what anyone else says. Nobody's going to remember that reference in any way or form. But yeah, sorry, G.
Yeah, so I've spoken about it before as well. Like the reason why I saw the trailer as well, I was just blown away. I was like, "What is this?" I looked into it. All I saw is chainsaw on a gun. I was like, "Okay." Me and my brother bought the console I think it was exclusive for
It
is.
as in launch title. I'm sure
No,
that
it wasn't.
No, it wasn't
I'm
launched.
sure it was.
No.
not.
So I must have
You-
got it a bit
so
later.
you
Then.
could buy a Gears of War Xbox 360. So when you press the buttons, it was all the
had
little
that one.
chings
You
and
had that
chunks and all that.
You had the
And-
Yeah.
and
Did it
you
have
had
a skin?
It had a skin on it, and it also had like that front plate was the red
Yeah.
with the cog on it.
You wait till
and
the
yeah.
Xbox Series X comes
Yeah.
out, the Gears of War version of that. It's happening.
Yeah, so we got it as a gift from my brother for his birthday during Christmas. And then we sent him off to, because we couldn't go for some reason. We had work. So we sent him off to Germany and we literally just sat.
And played his Christmas gift.
So we
Amazing.
literally just lived on that sofa for 3 days. Like
Playing
just
that game.
completed it. We completed it. Was like, what do we do? Let's do it again.
Yeah, because you're a big fan of the krill in this game, aren't you?
Yeah. So there's so many enemy varieties, and I was so dying to talk about Berserker. You talked about it. Spot on, amazing. The krill, I love the krill. Pitch Black, the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've got this fascination about the darkness, and there's some sort of creatures that come after you, and they introduce this in this game, and they don't utilize it as much, but the way. Like you got to like use the lights to like get in, and then you like if you there's a little guy under it, and the light goes up. Oh shit!
Oh, yeah.
And he just gets ripped to
And he
pieces.
gets ripped to pieces,
And
yeah.
then so you got to like obviously you played Gears, so you got to like
Yeah.
use the light to get in. I love that, and I don't think it ever reappears. In
They
any-
have a cameo in 3, and that is it.
That's it. And I was
Yeah.
like, why? I guess it was a bit gimmicky, but it was so cool. It just added more to the world. Like it's like I was talking about the way they come out. It's like it's not something you see in any game. Like they come out the hole.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
oh shit! If you
They-
don't
they
blow
burrow
keep-
up from the ground,
They
and they
keep
just keep
coming.
coming,
They keep
yeah.
coming. Like, oh, let's throw a grenade. Oh shit! Okay, we should have done that.
Lock it up, yeah.
There's that one bit around the fountain. When
Yes.
like
fuckers.
if you get the timing right, you're like, I'll throw the grenade. Now I say it's in there. Now I've got to go to the other side. Now the other one. Now the other side of the.
Is that the bit
Emergence holes,
where
aren't they?
Yeah.
Carmine gets head blown off?
Yes.
Yeah,
And that's a tradition as well with
Yeah,
everyone.
that's oh man, and you know it's gone so rooted in all my. I've got a shout out to my brothers. They have done. I think they've got 100% completion on it. They do something called Iron Man on it without dying.
Oh, Iron Man
yeah.
mode, God.
And they're the only one like 0.02% or
So it's
something.
basically hard mode, but as soon as you die, you go straight back to the beginning of the game.
They've done it all the way to.
What?
I don't think they've done the 5.
Mega Drive time.
I can't. I
Yeah,
don't-
innit?
I mean, I do Dark Souls games, but I can't do that. I ain't got the patience for that. They've done that.
But you've got the patience for Dark Souls, dude. That's a new level.
To die and start all over again? No, I can't do that. But anyway, so it's got one of my favorite villains, General Ram.
Ah,
course,
yes.
Yeah, and-
yes.
Yeah.
So it's so
On the
he-
train, isn't it?
That's
yeah,
it. he's so badass for us, for me and my brothers. It's so badass that all our email address finishes with .ram. Like mine's Gaussian.d. It's got RAM at the end. Same with my brothers. All three of us. I was obsessed with RAM. He was only there for like certain bits, but I just loved him to bits. Even when he kills Kim, I was like, oh fuck, but Ram's so cool. But yeah, this I love Gears, man. Like it's 100% certified banger, and it will be coming to the PS5 soon.
I have no doubt about that, mate. The way Xbox is going at the moment, so
I'll have all the series.
That's it, mate. And you get to play them all over again and get new trophies.
I'll do it. Then I'll do the Iron Man mode.
Because it comes on PlayStation, I'll do it.
Yeah, so that's my number one.
Excellent pick. Mario, numero uno.
Numero uno is Battlefield Bad Company 2.
Nice.
Goku will love that.
So this is my favourite of the Battlefield games.
Yeah. I remember the Vietnam map on this for the multiplayer.
I bought this as an off chance. Like it was like a 20 quid jobby. It was just there one day, and I was like, do you know what? It looks like Call of Duty. I'll just get it. I played it. It's fucking amazing. Like the first person story mode is brilliant. You're in a gang of misfit soldiers, and you're kind of going into all the bases. You start off in like Vietnam-y sort of area, and then you move into like a more modern time, and you're walking through the streets, and it's like you're trying to stop them setting off a nuclear bomb, but you fail, and the bomb goes off, and then you've got to try and find a second bomb somewhere else.
Don't you hear it like alarming through the game or something? Like it's like a siren
then,
thing.
There's a bit of the game where you reach it's like a sewage walkway thing, and the bomb goes off, and then they go for a whole sequence of, oh shit, man, we've missed it. We got to find another. There's going to be another one, and that whole thing. But then you go into the multiplayer of this, and it was the first time that you had like a reverse PUBG. So you know, like in PUBG and Fortnite, the maps shrink.
Yeah.
Well, this one over time, the map enlarges, so it gets longer, and you get to open certain sections of the map, and which meant that you could actually headshot if you got it right from all the way down the other end of the map, and you could use your sniper rifle. And you could get it just right, because this was the first time I'd ever used the Coriolanus effect in a game. So you actually have the bullet drop as you fire it.
Oh, damn.
And so you have to actually get it just right. So what you'd always do is the same as, I'm assuming what every sniper does. You do a test shot, and then you know that, okay, so if I'm aiming for him there, and it's going to come, you aim like above the head. You could, from the other side of the map, aim really high above their head and get a headshot. You just see this little puff of red, and it'd be like, yep, they're dead. Right, next. Yeah. It's such a good, and there were vehicles, explosions, building destructions, the enemies coming towards you. They weren't like Call of Duty where it just kept coming until you moved on. Like you had an end to
Is this
sequence.
after Red Faction? Because Red Faction's heavy on blowing up buildings and stuff, right?
The walls, wasn't it? The first one to blow up.
They were the
walls.
first to do all that.
I think this is after that.
After
this is
that,
what
isn't
I can't remember when this came out.
Is that when you can blow the bullets through the walls?
No, like the buildings.
So with this,
right.
the buildings would blow up, the tanks and stuff would take it. You would have basically, if you were going multiplayer, you had the same as like most multiplayer games now. You have the mechanic, you have the medic, you have the sniper, you would have the infantry soldier, and the mechanic. Like when you get in a vehicle, he could pull out a blowtorch and he could fix the vehicle with a blowtorch. The medic obviously would be able to administer kind of medic state, up your life or repair you as you were going through it. But it was a first-person shooter, and it was the first time I'd ever come across that sort of thing as well. But I always played sniper, so I always played the sniper.
Of course,
always played the sniper rifle. But you got to choose your loadout as well. So I'd have a sniper rifle, but I'd also have like an M16 or some sort of backup rifle, pop with a sniper scope on it, so that you could then double down. So, but you could also change like from 3-shot to 1-shot and stuff like that. It was so kind of intuitive. But the game itself, like the story mode, was what made me really enjoy this game, because the game, as you go through it and into the story mode, you're going through like wood yards and stuff like that, and you're shooting the enemies, and you're kind of going through it, and you're building like a really weird rapport with these characters as you go through it, and they're all telling the story as they go through. Like I think the opening scene is like that Vietnam-y sort of thing, but you're going into a sub base, a Japanese sub base, I think it is, and your characters are all kind of the same characters, but way back in time, and then it comes forward, and you're You're playing the same sort of characters.
It was a better story than just the usual Call of Duty campaign, wasn't it?
It really was. It was like, oh no, we're being taken over by some faction, or you're in the middle of a war. This was like there was no war. This was completely fictitious. And I remember the cover of the case is like
the grenade pin.
It's the grenade pin with the happy face on it. Yeah. And it was such a good game. But it was the multiplayer mechanic that got me. Like you could, like I say, you could shoot from the other side of the map, and if you got it right, you got that bullet drop.
Yeah,
that was it. You'd be like, think. And it was so good, and it opened up the map as well. You could play zones as well, so like you could open up certain zones of the map depending on your points. It was such a good game.
Are you more Battlefield guy to Call of Duty then, or?
I was, and then I played 1942.
Or was it? Yeah, 1942, and then Battlefield 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I got Battlefield 1.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that.
Kept getting stuck on the fucking airplanes, like when you're a pilot in a plane. Just like, oh, fuck's sake. Because that was something else as well. You could get in the vehicles, you could take them up, you could take them around, you could fly places. You can get in the tanks and stuff, and you can do all that. I think it was a much better mechanic than Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I think it's a much better setup than Call of duty. I had to relearn how to use the control pad because having been climatized to Call of Duty and the way that you have to use that, and it's like when you go from Call of Duty to Halo and you're like, zoom. No, I need to look down the sights, and you're pulling the trigger, and it's like, no, you have to just thumbstick in. So it was like that. But yeah, Battlefield was just so much easier. Slight difference in controls to Call of Duty, but the game itself, yes, it's Call of Duty-esque, but there's a bit more to it. The weapons were better. They were more accurate. They were more kind of in line with how something like that would work. So your sniper rifle, you look down the scope, instead of like with Call of Duty, shoot in the sights, oh, they're dead. This one was like you shoot, and if they're far away, too far away, you see the bullet just drop, and you see them kind of... And with that, like if you hit them in the chest, oh, they survive. If you hit them in the head, they're out. But you have to kind of get it just right in that torso sort of thing. It was so good, so good. And that the sniper is what made it, because like I say, you could shoot someone from the other side of the map, and it just so good.
John would have loved that.
Yeah, he's probably tried it. So I can't get it right.
He put it in the comments and I should play that game.
I do love a war game. I would still buy them properly to this day. If they just gave me a little bit more, because I will always buy it for the campaign. I love the campaign, but they give me 5 minutes of like, here's 2 levels, and then you just want me to play multiplayer. And I like multiplayer and everything, but it lives and dies in who you're playing.
Yeah.
And like if you're just getting dicked, or there's just people who are good that I feel like you're good, but then I'm shit.
My God's honest truth is, like, I think some of the games come out and they put the multiplayer in because they're lazy. Like, they've got no story idea. They've got no idea, so they do
Uncharted did that, and Tomb Raider. They just add it in as an afterthought. Like, it's not. Sometimes you don't need it. It's not needed.
You just stick with the main game. Stick with the one-player game. Like Gears has a really great multiplayer. You can go through campaign together. That's great. That's it. That's all you need.
Always.
That's it.
Every single one you can, isn't it?
I would love them to bring out a full like Medal of Honor. You know, like that sort of like campaign. Give me a
that's
longer.
Died, hasn't it?
Yeah, but that game of like here's 12, 13 levels, or
or even can join them all together.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So like if you did like the entire Call of Duty World War II sort of thing, or World War One, then into just one massive campaign. Fucking great.
Because it was just like, which one's better this year, COD or Battlefield?
Medal of Honor, yeah.
Well, it used to be, yeah.
And then it was Battlefield,
and then
now it's just
I
Call
love
of Duty,
Medal of
same
Honor.
thing over again.
I used to be FIFA Pro Evo.
I feel like that should have a rebirth, or that sort of genre of war. I think we've got the war games down to a till, and they are brilliant. But I think we're just missing that one player. Give me a war campaign.
Like there are stories out of
immersive,
out of wars that you could just put in there, and you could have specific kind of things like this has that teamwork element to it. The guys go in and you have to follow them through, and there's a night mode one and all this sort of stuff. There's stuff where you have to do specific skill sets and do specific things as your character and get specific loadouts in order to do certain parts of the level. If you have that going forward, like so if you do Call of Duty style and you have this is a purely sniper level, not that contrived sniper look. Oh, look down the scope. There's a Russian person. You must kill him. Now aim down the scope. Oh no, bomb gone off. They've seen you. Ah, you're screwed.
Yeah.
No, you want a proper sniper level. One where you have to set yourself up and you have to look for the target.
Metal Gear style.
Yeah, and then you take out the target, and then the next level is all out fucking war. You and your squad are just going all out down the hill, take them all out as best you can. Or you're doing Overwatch for another.
That would be good.
Yeah, you kind of set them up. Each kind of story section is like you as a different character, because they did that in Call of Duty.
Yeah, I never played your one.
You're playing Germans, you're playing Russians, but in Battlefield was so good. Bad Company 2, definitely the better of all the Battlefield kind of franchise. 3 was good for its multiplayer as well, but it had nothing on the story of this one-player campaign.
Have they done a Bad Company recently?
I don't think so. I think they've just revisited Bad Company 2. I think they've re-released it again.
Okay.
But it is a really good game. I think it's also on all formats. I think it was just an Xbox.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
But I played it on the Xbox 360, and it was my favourite game. It was my go-to. It was the one that I went back to and would play. It's that 5-minute hop on the line and play it. And I was gutted when they brought out the new ones and everyone dropped off on playing it online.
Wow.
So, yeah, there you go. My number 1, Battlefield Bad Company 2.
Nice.
Excellent. Good pick, sir.
Thank you.
My number 1, are you ready for this? My number 1 is Viva Pinata.
You can jog on.
I always wanted to play that game, by the way.
Nah, it's obviously not. But
Mirror's Edge.
if you, it wasn't too bad a game, but hey, 1 million top 5. I like games that come in packages, and when I say packages, I mean one that comes with more than just one game.
It was on my list.
Is this
Was it on your list?
Is this a box by any chance?
It is a box.
Is it a certain colour?
It is a certain colour, and it is the orange box. What can I say? Whoever follows the show knows that Half-Life 2 is my favourite game of all time. But to have this packaged with episodes 1 and 2, the DLCs for it, Portal, which is one of the best puzzle games ever.
I love that.
And then Team Fortress at the time was one of the best multiplayers back in 2007.
I think.
What a package. I mean, like £30 for 5 games, essentially. And long games as well.
Good games as well. The
and
story
fantastic
as well.
games. So, yeah, I mean, I had played Half-Life 2 on the PC when it came out.
Yep.
And then it came out on the original Xbox, the first ever one, which I don't know how it did it, but it did it. And then I never really got to play the DLCs, which was Half-Life Episode 1, Episode 2. But this gave me the opportunity to do it and to carry on my story of following Gordon Freeman on from what happened after the events of 2. Whatever happens in 1 was, wow, how does it go from Episode 2? And it does. And then leaves you on the biggest cliffhanger in video game history. Up until Alex came out, but if you know, you know. I won't go into too much spoilers on that. But yeah, I mean, I can't go too much in it. I'm just such a big fan of the franchise.
Such a great idea. It's such a great game.
I was about to go into that. So also, yeah, Ravenholm, one of the scariest levels. Again, I always ramp on about Alien Isolation, how that game terrifies me. It doesn't terrify me anything compared to Ravenholm. Good God. The head crabs in that level are just terrifying, the way they scream at you and try and jump for you and stuff. Oh, my God. But, gravity gun, everything as well. I always say, with Half-Life 2, I always find out that there's more achievements that are actually on there.
Yep.
For example, another one is like go through Ravenholm with just the gravity gun. Who would dare try that? But I went back and played it again just to get that achievement. And then there's another one ridiculously where you just bring a garden gnome from you from the start of the game to the very end. Of
way.
Yeah, I believe that's in episode 2 though. The Half-Life episode 2. You take a garden.
Did you actually do that?
Yeah, you have to take a garden gnome with you. You take it all the way to the end and you shoot it off into space. I don't know why, but it's there. But there's everything to this: the story, the weaponry, the characters, the music, the action, the enemies. It just keeps on giving this game. And I've not played Alex, but I know the ending to it. But please, Valve, give us Half-Life 3, please.
Yeah.
But yeah, I go back to it anywhere, any day. I have the orange box on anything, from the 360 to my Steam Deck to...
You even bought me one. That's how I played Half-Life.
I did, yeah. I got you guys into it. You came into it very late. Yeah. I gave it to John. He's not played it at all.
He's probably still playing
It's a great
Division.
first-person game. And Portal is just, like you say, it's one of the greatest
Come on,
games.
man. I mean...
When Portal finished, I was like, Is that it? Like, I need more. Like, it's
Right?
so addictive. Like,
I want to
don't-
know if the cake's real or not.
Yes, it's exactly it. Yes, and yeah, the whole thing is just such a great combination of games.
It is.
It's so
just
good.
Such value for money. It's like the Master Chief Collection. It's
Yeah.
just all in one package. I mean, if Half-Life 1 was on it, it'd be an even better one, but they've never redone that. That should be redone, actually. That'd be really good. But I can't go into it too more because I've babbled on about it through previous episodes of this series, so I won't go into too much. Orange Box, my number one.
Nice.
Does anyone have any honourable mentions?
Yeah,
I've got a few, but
I'll go into mine very quickly because I've got them here ready for me. So some of these are not just on the 360; they're obviously on the PS3 as well. But I'll go into Halo 3,
Yep.
Reach, and
Yep.
4.
Oh, Reach, I forgot. Reach
Yeah.
is good. 4 is good as well. Yep.
Star Wars Unleashed.
Oh,
Yes.
Jedi Star Killer.
Yes.
Oh, damn.
That was
it.
really
Very,
good.
very close
Yeah.
to going on my list. I was gutted I didn't put it on there. I don't know if anyone played this, but this is what. So you, Big Gal, were talking about the game that did the destruction. The destruction of it. You could destroy anything in this game. Red Faction Armageddon.
That's what I was saying. Red Faction, but
Red
I
Faction
can remember the.
So it done it on the PS2, but
Yeah.
it sort of didn't utilize it as much. You couldn't destroy everything on the early games. This was the one. If there was a wall in front of you, it's gone. But it also, I put it on here because it has one of the best weapons on here next to the Lancer, but it has the unicorn gun where you pull his tail and he shoots a laser out his ass.
I have heard this.
Yeah, and you
I've
actually
never
see his
played
face. He's
it.
like, "Ah!" when he does it as well.
Amazing.
Marvel Unlimited Alliance, Ultimate Alliance. Sorry,
Ultimate Alliance. Yes. Ultimate Alliance was such a great game.
both of them were
Yeah.
1 and 2, right? Split Second I mentioned on a racing car episode. Fallout 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
And last but not least, very late into it because I wasn't a fan of the first one, but number 2 is amazing. Borderlands 2.
I've got a couple.
Nice.
Lost Planet.
Nice. Yes.
Crackdown.
Crackdown.
Yeah.
Nice.
Crackdown,
Yeah.
Mass Effect.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think 1 or 2. I can't remember.
Both were on there. 1, 2, and 3 were on there. 360.
Skyrim, we've talked about.
Yep.
Fable, Orange Box, Oblivion, Left 4 Dead 2. Yeah, that's it.
I'm going to throw a curveball in there. Rock Band, Guitar Hero.
Yeah. All
Guitar
right.
Hero 2.
Yeah.
There was one that just into my head, but that's now left my head, and I've forgotten what it was. I'm going to say Mirror's Edge because Mirror's Edge was a good game of its time. It was
Is that the free running
no,
one?
that was the free running one, yeah, where you basically were doing all those kind of run along the wall,
Parkour,
parkour
yeah.
sort of stuff.
Anything in red.
Anything in red,
Yeah.
that was it. That was
all the
really
Dead
good.
Spaces as well.
All
Of
the Dead
course,
Space.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
1 and 2, wasn't it?
Yeah, 1 and 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's all I can remember off the top of my head.
Yeah. Nice.
Is it?
Chris?
I had, what was it? One that was really close going onto my list was Enslaved. Do you remember
No.
the sort of
yes.
she
it's,
takes control of his head and it's basically Last of Us on like a future planet.
I didn't know. Never
So
played.
yeah, she basically is about to get kidnapped or killed or something, and she sees some warrior and she puts like this head controlling thing on his head, and if he dies, she dies. If she dies, he dies. Sort of
wow.
thing.
I'm
And
getting visions of it. I
he
can't-
has to transport her back to her planet, basically, kind of an escort.
Okay.
Yeah, that was good. Kane and Lynch, Dark
Yes,
Days.
yeah.
That
The
was
2-player game,
yeah,
wasn't it?
but it was 2-player where one player went one way,
Yeah, one player
went the other way, and you had 2 different games.
And you had to meet up. Yeah,
Meet
yeah.
up in the other bit.
It's not. I'm thinking of Army of 2, right?
Army of 2 is another
Army of 2
one,
was
but
the
you were
same.
together all the time
Yeah,
in
okay.
Army of 2.
This one you had separate.
Was
Oh,
it
okay.
LA Noir,
Yes.
Yes,
Elena
of
Warren.
course.
Alan Wake,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
was it Wolfenstein?
I love Wolfenstein.
Pro Evo 6.
Yeah, I know you get Braver in there.
Get that in there, mate.
And obviously the
Pro Evo.
FIFAs, but
Yeah.
that's a whole different episode.
That might be in another episode this season,
maybe.
guys. Nice. I think we'll end it there then, guys, really?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So we shall sign off then. So let's say thank you for listening, guys. And if you enjoyed what you listened to, follow us on Facebook at the M.T.V.B Podcast, on Instagram at M.T.V.B Podcast, or on YouTube.
At M.T.V.B.
And
podcast.
we have got obviously TikTok at M.T.V.B Podcast 197. Please give us a like, a share, a subscribe. Put down in the comments any of the games that we missed out, and we'd like to hear any recommendations you guys give us as well. And big thanks for listening. This is myself, Ant,
And Chris Heisenbyrne.
Grey Fox.
And Super Mario.
and we're signing off, guys. See you next week. Goodbye.
Bye bye.